All right, we are back with another episode of The Bomb Hole. This is Silk. I'm the editor and producer here. If you don't know that already, I'm filling in for Chris just during these intros. Don't worry, he's still hosting the actual show. But he's on paternity leave. He's got a baby boy now, and we want him to spend as much time with his family as he can. So I'm sitting here, and I'm going to give you the lowdown before we get into this episode. First off, we want to thank all our Patreon members so much. We appreciate each and every one of you. I see all your names when you sign up. I see all your names when I make the outro of the episode. I know you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. We really couldn't do it without you. And we also want to thank all of our sponsors for today's episode. We have Woodward Park City, Bub's Naturals, Gozney, Nidecker Snowboards, Autumn Headwear, CAPiTA Snowboards, Union Binding Co., Pub Beer, Mint Tours, and Yeti. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors. Now, today, we have a monumental episode. Eero Ettala in studio. Wow. I know. That's what I was thinking too. He has an insane resume of video parts dating all the way back to Standard Films, Mack Dawg Productions, his own personal projects. And in every single one of these parts, I kid you not, the writing is top tier, top notch. He's actually fucking insane. And he's still doing it. 40 years old, just dropped his most recent project, Milestone. If you haven't seen it already, just go watch it right now if you can. Or watch it after. Watch it at some point. You have to watch this thing. It's so good. There's going to be a link in the description and the show notes down there. Please go watch it. We talk about it quite a bit. We talk about a few clips, but you need to see the whole thing. It's incredible. Now, Eero Ettala has been in the game for so long. He's navigated insane injuries, still dealing with them. He's got kids. He has so much to balance, and he's still and always has been finding new ways to progress the sport and push himself. And that's all we need. That's all we need. It's more than enough. He's an insane rider. He's a beautiful human. So let's just get into it. The Eero Ettala interview.
You are listening to the
Hey, MFM. See you on the lift. Back attack, dude.
Bon voyage!
Hey, yo, homies, good.
Slide down them big hills, you know what I mean, on the big, nice burgundy snowboard.
All right, welcome to The Bomb Hole, which is presented by Run Through Wall Smelling Salts. Now today, co-hosting, we got Knut in studio. Knut Eliasson, what's happening?
I'm doing good. Honored to be here.
Happy that you're here. Of course, we got Silk, our producer. What's happening, Silk?
What up?
Happy to see you, Silk.
Thank you.
Fresh back from Europe.
Likewise. Yeah.
Yep. And we got Eero Ettala in studio. Eero, what's happening?
Not much. Thanks for the invite. Fucking stoked to be here.
Well,
I'm a big fan of the show.
Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot coming from you, especially. Now, I just want to hit the ground running with a huge topic right out of the gates. Probably the biggest topic. How is bonking Knut's forehead?
Oh, come on.
It was easy. Like the forehead's huge, you know. I was just doing a front three, you know, and it's just like it's like a magnet, almost like the forehead, you know. Just,
Manual. Didn't even bonk it. You manualed the whole thing.
well, yeah, pretty much, exactly. But that was easy, like actually easier than we expected.
For sure.
First we tried with the helmet on, just to feel like it's safe, you know. Mm-hmm. And then we took the helmet off and then did it with the beanie and stuff.
Big target.
It is a big target. Yeah, it's easy.
It's not that big.
It's actually pretty big.
What are you talking about? It's shiny, but it's not that big.
Hey, Silk, can you put Ken Griffey Jr. from The Simpsons on the screen for this?
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. Awesome. But yeah, let's talk about what you're doing here in Salt Lake, because I got a sneak peek. It is freaking incredible. Tell us about what you're doing out here.
So yeah, we're gonna be having the world premiere of Milestone tonight at the Skull Candy headquarters. It's a project that I've been working on for the last 3 seasons, and it's gonna be released on my 40th birthday, which is in October. And yeah, pretty exciting, because I haven't, like, the last time I filmed the video part was for Ender back in 2015, you know, so it was like 9 years ago. So I feel like people were not really expecting me to put out anything, you know, so it's just, and that's how we wanted to keep it too. Like, I've been just really silent about the filming project, you know. So finally, when we like released the teaser, I think that the feedback was amazingly positive. Like, I was blown away. That was super nice.
Who told you to do it? Was it your idea?
No, actually, it was funny because I'm doing this like sports commentating for like a Finnish channel for like snowboard World Cups. So I figured I was gonna call Rene Rinnakangas just for like insight from the venue, you know, like when he's gonna be jumping and like how's he jump and all that stuff, like who's gonna be winning and shit. So and then Rene's like, yeah, actually, like I was just in a sauna with my homies and we came up with a cool like project idea for you. I'm like, all right, just I'm all ears, you know, because I got nothing going on basically. And he's like, fucking, you should just film a new video part and then release it on your 40th birthday. I'm like, maybe I should not do that, you know, because I already claimed that I wasn't gonna film another part, you know.
Yeah.
But then I started thinking about it and processing the idea, and it more became like a personal challenge to myself in a way. Because like in the old days, I feel like I was competing against the other guys that I was filming with, you know, because like I wanted to get the last part, I wanted to have the best tricks and stuff, and now I was just kind of like going out there and like I don't know if I still have this, you know, like you go to a spot and you just don't know. But once you start getting these clips and you're building up the confidence, then it just gets really fun and motivating and like addicting. So I found the same spark that I used to have. And I think that it was actually really fucking fun.
Amazing. Yeah, because for the listeners that don't know, like in Ender, you basically retired from filming video parts. You're like, this is going to be my last video part. So I don't think anybody expected it. But let's jump into a couple tricks too, because the opener, you go back to an iconic front board that you didn't follow me around on a heavy, high consequence wooden rail. And it seems like that one really kind of helped you get the ball rolling for the whole project, right?
Yeah, like I mean, you know, so that was back in 06 when I did the front board. So that was like 18 years ago. And, you know, and I feel like that was like when I was in my prime, I was feeling really fucking confident. I had no injuries, nothing. And I was filming for that follow me around part, like everything, which is like everything felt perfect, you know. I had a good season in the US, jumping powder and then having all that rail stuff done. And, you know, so like actually going back there and like looking at the rail, I'm like, like this is actually a little bit bigger than I remembered, you know. But like I knew like back in 06, of course, I feel like I could have done the backflip as well. But I already had a backflip for the part, so I was just like, I'll do a front board and a nose press. And this time, like, I think, you know, I could have done it then. I still have, like, backflip sometimes actually is easier than a front board. Like, once you get it locked, it just, like, you can't, like, get out of it anymore. You just get stuck on the rail and you just go all the way. And it actually worked out pretty fast. I think I gave it, like, 15 tries or something. But it was pretty challenging with the time. Because I went there by myself in the morning just to set up the spot. And my filmer, he had something going on. And he showed up around 2 o'clock. And it was going to get dark around 4. So I knew I was going to have 2 hours time limit to get the shot, you know? So like every time I was walking up, I was just getting more and more tired. Because it's like, I think it's like 50 stairs or something. So every time I'm just getting up there, I'm like, oh, fuck, I hope this is going to be the last try. I hope this is going to be the last try. And then that one time I just get locked. I'm like, whoa, what's happening? And I'm going all the way. And there's so much compression in the landing. So I was actually like, when I was on the rail, I knew I was going to go all the way till the end. But then I was getting nervous, like if I have like what it takes in my legs to like take the compression. So you can actually see it, like once I land, I'm like, what the fuck just happened? You know, like just the stoke is like, I think I claimed even more than the X Games win pretty much, you know? The stoke is real, you know?
Heavy claim.
I like, when you're 40, you're like allowed to celebrate this kind of moments, you know?
That's incredible. I got to ask too, with having kids and things like that, you got 2 kids at home and you're on top of a wooden rail, which in my opinion is so dangerous to put your heels into, where you could get so destroyed. How do you think about risk tolerance now having kids? Is that something on the drop in that goes through your head?
I think about it, like, but I think about it before going to a spot. So actually, a lot of times, like even that rail, like I went there maybe like 3 or 4 times just to look at it, just be like, just knowing like I have what it takes to actually do it. Because otherwise, like if I just go somewhere without like seeing the spot before or like visualizing myself doing it, like it just doesn't work for me that way. So like if I go to a spot, like I'm already like in my head, like I'm like 90% there, like I already have the shot pretty much, you know. So I was feeling really confident. And if I go to a spot that like feels a little bit sketchy to me or like too risky, then I'm not gonna do it, you know. Like it's not worth the risk anymore.
What about just wood specifically? How do you, like, I'm serious, nobody's going to go sideways on wood, especially not a back lip. Like, did you ice it or how did you find confidence to slide it?
There's a trick to it. Like I've been doing this with Nitro. Like I asked Tommy, who's like one of the founders of Nitro, like if he could like custom make me boards with like no edges. So it's like 90 degrees angle, like where the edge should be, but it's just like the base material. Like there's no like metal edge at all. So it's pretty horrible to ride it. But like once you get on the rail, then it feels nice.
You've been cheating this whole time.
Yeah, I've been cheating. But the thing is, like, those boards would be horrible to ride like on a metal rail. Like it's too fucking slippery. But like on wood or aluminum, it's perfect.
Have you always had the mindset of when you go to spots to film that you go there multiple times before you go there, so you visualize the trick before you go there?
Yeah,
Your whole career, have you been? Like
not for the whole career, but like I think at least for the last 10 years, I think that's the way I usually like process the whole thing. And most of the time actually also like having family and stuff, like now I did it, like I would put the kids to sleep and then I would like go build a spot and have it ready for next morning. I would drop the kids off to daycare and then I wouldn't hit the spot, basically just to save time, you know, like, because sometimes like building the spot might take longer than actually getting the shot. So I wasn't like willing to risk it, you know. So I wanted to go build the spot by myself. I was there like always, like it just felt so weird, like being this like old dude at the spot when it's all dark and just like shoveling, you know. But like I made it work. Like pretty much like every spot that we hit like worked out. There was one spot that just got away, but it's all cool. I mean, that happens once in a while.
What about finding spots? I saw you had some great techniques for that.
Yeah, great techniques. Yeah, it used to be so different. I mean, like when I had nothing else going on, when I was just snowboarding, like I would actually like in the summertime just hop in the car and drive for 10 hours trying to look for spots like city after city after city. But nowadays it's just like, you know, I didn't have that much like spare time, you know, so like every time I go like road cycling or something, I'm just kind of picking up a new neighborhood just to go try to find some spots, or I'm like going like strolling with the kids, you know, I'm trying to find spots on the like close to the neighborhood or whatever, like, or even going to like a family vacation. Like I'm always like driving, you know, like looking both sides, you know, that feeling always like,
oh yeah,
it's like really dangerous style of driving. And like my wife like sitting next to me is like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, I'm just trying to find spots, you know, like
Dude,
the kids in the back too, you know?
Yeah, whenever I pull into a sketchy area with my wife and I'm like behind some school in some random area, I'm like, sorry, baby, this is the life you chose. This is the life you chose.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. The spot searching never goes away.
Yeah, like never. Like, and it's not like I'm not even always like searching spots for myself. Like I might get excited. I'm like, fucking, this is a perfect spot for like Antti Jussila, or like Tony Kerkel might like this one. And then I send him pictures like, you guys should go here. You know, I just, you know, I can't get out of it.
addicted to the spot search.
Really addicted, yeah.
In the Milestone doc, I like how particularly that one spot, you're like, I found this on a family vacation, and then you drove 3 hours to the spot that you cut off the tail and did the back tail 270, which is not even really a prime time spot, and it just showed the dedication to what goes into a 3-second clip.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but I feel like that was just like a funny clip too to have. You know, it just in a way, because I always talked about like it's cool to have like different kind of mix of tricks. You know, like you have playful tricks, you have like weird tricks, and then you have like the banger tricks and stuff. So that was kind of like the weird tricks that people can laugh about in a way.
Yeah.
So I felt like it's going to be worth the drive. Just driving there for like 3.5 hours, and then I was cutting off the tail and like pretty much threw the board away after that. But I thought it was a funny shot. I need like if I show the part to some people, they're always like, "Oh, that was cool." Like I've never seen people do that. Even like it's Spencer Schubert did the back tail. Like it's like totally from him. You know, like I stole the idea, but it's okay.
Well, we're talking about it now. It's a memorable clip. I also like the idea of you in spandex walking around spots like on your road bike.
Yeah, but it's for sure. If any snowboarder would see me, they're probably like, for sure, there's no spots. If there's gonna be like a spandex dude like looking at something, that's definitely not a spot. You know, it's like a disguise.
Yeah. Like there's a weird guy with a road bike.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
He's looking for a rollerblade spot.
Yeah, and as seeing the part, I got to pump your tires a little bit on this, Eero, because this part is fucking incredible. In a world of snowboarding where a lot of it looks very similar, you had great trick selection approach, you had difficult tricks, you had new stuff, you had tech stuff, you had crafty stuff, you had big gnarly bangers, and is a really, really special video part for anybody that's listening. Go fucking watch it. And I'm curious about the thought process on how you visualize the part beforehand and how you put the puzzle pieces together to create this masterpiece, and how it's is it preconcepted and kind of your philosophy going into it?
Well, as I said, I was filming this for like 3 seasons, so I basically had a lot of time. And so the first season, I was just like, my idea was to go to spots and just see like how I was feeling. Like if I wasn't gonna get good shots, I would just like post those on the gram and like not tell anyone I was even trying to film a part, basically. But once I was getting shots, I'm like, okay, now I got a front board, and then I was hitting a spot like I think the one of the first spots that I hit was that the C rail, like the switch from board to 70 out. That was like the first clip that I got for the part, and the second clip was like this like C bench that I like hop over the trash can like a front board, and then it's kind of like, okay, now I got 2 tricks. I got a 270 out. I got a front board. Like, what would I want to do next? And I'm like, okay, what would be cool to get a wall ride, So once you get a wall ride, like now, fucking, I don't have any 270s on. And then you try to like look for a 270 spot. And I've been doing these like nollie back 270s. Like I haven't seen that many people do those. So I'm like, I started thinking about like all the rails that are in Finland, like which would be the perfect spot, like size wise. Because for that trick, I feel like you need a really steep rail. It has to be pretty low, and like it would be perfect if it wasn't like too long either, because most like gonna get fucked, So it's like, it's a full commitment trick, like once you like get yourself into that like nollie butter 270, like there's like no turning back basically. So, but it's kind of one of those things. I just go one trick at a time. But also for this part, I think like the whole, like the theme and the motivation with the part was like going back to some same spots that I've hit in the past, to kind of like one up myself a little bit too. So that's why I wanted to go back to that big wooden rail to get that back clip, and then hit that the roof gap with the switch under flip to get those things out of the way. And I feel like those were kind of like the banger tricks, and then started like kind of filling the part like, like having like a opening shot and then something in between and like the bangers, and knowing, okay, now I can have some more playful stuff, and then trying to get that good mix for the part. But otherwise it was pretty loose. I feel like having a season of filming and like realizing, okay, now I have like 15 shots, like so in the summertime I'm like, okay, like next season I would like to do something a bit different, And then for the last season of filming, I hired Tobbe, who's like the filmer that's been doing stuff with Sami Luhtanen for the WAP videos. And I like his filming style a lot. He's more like VX, like the fisheye, like the Deathlands thing, or what is it called? Like what's the fisheye called again?
The Century.
Century,
we call it the bad boy lens.
The bad boy lens, exactly. So he's been filming with that, and he has that like really skate feel to his filming, So I started like also processing like what kind of tricks would look good on that filming style, and then like the stuff is more like smaller and playful and like more tech and stuff. So we filmed a bunch of those stuff for the last season. So basically I got done like the first couple seasons with the actual, I don't know, like, but to say the banger stuff, like the ender shot, like the front board on snow, like the roof gap thing, and then the big back flip and the switch under flip. And then the rest of the stuff was like a bit more playful, I feel like.
It was a great blend. We actually have a guest question from Tony Kirkla. I'm going to fire it up. Here we go.
Ooh, Tony.
Tony Kirkla.
Big Tony.
No moi Eero. It's Tony here. Can you tell us about your learning process of new tricks and how you bring those to the spots? Example, last winter, when you did the Cap 450 thing in Schweiz ski resort, and then pretty much next day we drove to a spot and you did it there first try. I was like, damn, what just happened? Dude, thank you for being a great inspiration since forever and impacting my snowboarding so much. Love you guys. Peace.
Whoa, Tony's the man.
Tony is the man.
Yeah, I love his style and his riding. Yeah, actually, I was with Tony in this ski resort. It's called Sveitsi, and that, like, it's funny because I know the owner of the resort, so sometimes he like lets us run the lifts for just us, like no one else is there, because usually the resorts open back home in Finland around like 4 p.m. like when people get off school or off work, like because there's not really tourist riding, so that's why it's pretty crazy, and it's a horrible time for me to go ride because that's usually when I pick up the kids from the daycare, so I couldn't go ride, so I always hit up the dudes like, can we actually just go and run the lifts just for us? So I was there riding with Tony. It was just 2 of us and just taking like hot laps and stuff, and sometimes you just get fired up when you see someone doing something, because I was doing those like cap, like fake ollie 270, like the butter things, and then I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna try like like a cap 3 on, and then I did that one, but it was a little bit sketchy, and I was like, fuck, I'm just gonna whip it a little bit more, try to do like 450, and then that worked out. And that's the process again. I'm like, okay, now I did this trick, it's a new trick, so like trying to find a rail where to do it on. And then I went to, I think this was like a random trip again, I went with the family to like Tampere. So, and then I left my wife and the kids at the hotel or something. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna take a little like 1 hour quick like scope mission, and started driving around the city and found this spot with like a little staircase and a small rail. I'm like, okay, this is a perfect spot for that trick, because it's like low, and because like for that trick either you can't really have a takeoff when you kind of like the fakey pop. So it's just like kind of full speed, like just flat takeoff and just whip it around. And I went there with Tony, and he was filming for the gram. He got a couple shots, and then I was working on that trick, and it worked out pretty fast actually. It was funny because I actually
said first try.
Yeah,
FT.
Yeah,
That's pretty fast.
yeah.
It's impossible to do it faster.
I did it first try. But the thing is, I was like warming up with the Cap 270, like the Fakey 270, and then I did that trick first try, but it wasn't the one that is used in the film because I wanted to get it a little bit better. And it was funny because like after that clip that we got, I think the filmer actually missed it, and then the security was about to kick us out. And then I started talking to the guys like, okay, just give us like half a more hour. Like we're going to be like, just, that's all I need. Like I'll be done after half an hour. And then he just said, okay, like just promise us like you're never going to come back and clean all the stairs and stuff. And then, then we just kept going. I got the shot, and then we actually just ended up staying there for like 2 more hours probably. And like, because then I like made this little bank against the rail and did like the from butter, like switch from board down to 2. But that was a fun session, It was cool because like, we had 2 different agendas, Tony was filming for the gram, and I was totally fine with it because like it's not like a special spot, and I had this like more of a special trick to do it on, so I wasn't like afraid that someone's gonna come there and like do something crazier, because I'm not saying it's a crazy trick, but it's a trick that people don't think about doing, so. But that was a cool session, and always fun times riding with Tony. So
did you the security guard came and was gonna kick you out, and he saw you, Eero Ettala. I think a lot of people don't know this, but in Finland, Eero's like a A-class celebrity on TV shows and the TV show host. Did he recognize you? So he's like, oh, okay, Mr. Ettala, go ahead. He probably did. He probably did.
No, I don't know. Probably not this guy, but sometimes that happens for sure. And sometimes we tell people like, okay, we're working on this like TV documentary, like it's going to be about snowboarding. Even we're just filming for like these little clips for something like shitty or whatever. But yeah. But usually, like when you say you're doing something for like the national TV, like people are stoked, So that's usually. But I remember the first time, I think after Olympics, when Heikki was in the Olympics with the Mohawk, that was the first time we could actually go to spots and like we would have Heikki with us, and we would get kicked out and like, oh Heikki, okay, you guys can stay, yeah, sick. I was like, Heikki was big time back then for sure.
He was huge,
and it's helpful, like because like. Finland is like pretty recognized as a street mecca for snowboarding. So a lot of people come over and like usually the security people don't really care. It depends on the zone, of course.
Not like the States, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I love how Eero's addicted to finding spots. He's like, actually can't.
40 years old.
Yeah.
Dude, huge inspiration on this part too, because you're 40. For the old heads out there who are like kind of maybe have a narrative that they're too old to get better or too old. That kind of happens. There's
you get scared.
You get scared and things like that. You're still pushing it, but what people don't know is that you can't fucking bend your knees, basically, right? There's some shit going on with your knees where it's really challenging for you to get these tricks as well.
Yeah, my right knee is really fucked. It's like I can't bend it more than 90 degrees because it's like bone on bone, like there's no cartilage left. I have had 6 knee surgeries on the right knee, like 2 ACLs, and then just like MCL and meniscus, and then just they've been taking out these like floating cartilage pieces. Like it used to get like just stuck, Like one time I was like swimming laps, and I was like kicking speed from the other end. And it just like my knee got stuck. I'm like, oh, I can't swim. I'm like, help me. I was just in the swimming pool, so that was kind of sketchy. But now it's been fine. Like
could have drowned.
It's not fine, but I'm kind of like I'm used to it now because it's been this shitty for the past 10 years. Like I kind of learned how to live with it, and I'm also being really selective with the spots that I hit. Basically,
Tony told me that there was one spot where you couldn't really climb up to the roof to get to it. He had to like help you get up there. But once you were snowboarding, you were good.
Yeah. That happens sometimes for sure. Like getting up like the drop-in ramp or something might be sketchier than actually hitting the spot. Because I can't bend my knee. I'm like, oh, how do I get up here? You know, or even hiking in the like deep pow. Because like I can't like really lift my leg. I have to like lift it from the side to get back up.
I've seen footage of people pushing you up like a roof gap thing. And then it's so crazy because people are helping him up, and then he's gonna jump down. You're just like, this makes no sense.
Yeah,
but that's like something to keep in the back of your mind when you're watching this part. Not only is Eero 40, he also can't bend his fucking knee. And you're probably in excruciating pain sometimes too.
Yeah, but what I've realized is like, especially riding in the streets, is like better for my body because like actually you don't get that many like riding. You know, you don't actually ride that much. You know, you end up hitting something like 15 times or 10 times, and then you're going to be done. Actually riding at a resort for like hour and a half, 2 hours, like then I'm actually smoked.
Yeah, the chop and all that.
Yeah. And then like the spring days when like the snow is really heavy too, like that's the worst for me. Like there's so much torsion in the body and stuff. And like the board gets super heavy. And those are the days that like, if I ride for 2 hours, then I can't like really walk for the next 2 days. You know, so I have to be like really smart about it, like when to quit. Because sometimes you're like fucking like really feeling it, but like your body starts feeling like, okay, like this would be the perfect time to stop. Yeah. And then you go for like another half an hour and then you're going to be smoked for the next couple of days. So these days I have to be just more smart about it.
I mean, if Eero can do it, literally anyone can do it.
This is inspiration though. It is. All right, let's take a quick break and talk about Yeti. They got a new cooler. It's called the Roadie 15, and it's perfect for all of your essentials. You can throw it on the front of an ATV, throw it on your paddleboard or a kayak. It's also really light. You can carry it down to your beach, or you can go fishing with it. Great cooler. Weighs less than 10 pounds empty. It's also ample space to fit a 12-pack of standard cans with ice. So those bevs stay cold wherever your adventure takes you. They got all types of technology in this thing too. They got the new double duty strap, which means you don't need to use your hands. You can throw it over your shoulder. They got good handles. They got the non-slip feet for the back of your truck. They got a drain plug if you want to hose the thing out if it gets nasty. They got tie-down slots. And the best thing about the Yetis is the permafrost insulation. So they're the best coolers. They keep those bevs ice cold on a hot summer day. Check out their website if you want to learn more about the Yeti Roadie 15.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and talk to you guys about Mint Tours. Now, if you don't know what Mint Tours is, they're a snowboard travel company, and they're operating out of Japan, North America, Canada, and Europe. That's basically the entire world. And with their long-standing relationships with local businesses and pros such as Kevin Backstrom, Ingmar Backman, Chad Otterstrom, and Hanna Beeman, you're going to get access to special, top-secret spots and incredible terrain. With their deep local connections, dedicated and knowledgeable team, and a relentless drive to delivering anywhere but ordinary experiences, Mint Tours is the perfect option to help you curate your dream trip. So if you're looking to plan a trip, head on over to minttours.com and check out what tours they have lined up for this season. All right, we're going to take a quick break for a message from one of our favorite sponsors, Pub Beer. Don't miss the online premiere of Pub Beer's Beer Lodge, premiering exclusively on all Bombhole channels November 18th. Mark your calendars, November 18th. Watch what happens when you jam a haunted McCall cabin with Curtis Cizik, Ben Ferguson, Eric Jackson, Carson Storch, and many more surprise guests. You won't want to miss it.
So let's go back to the early days. Growing up in Finland, I saw a bunch of, I think I watched Ender, and it had all that old archival footage. But what did finding snowboarding look like for you back in the day?
Yeah, fucking snowboarding was really cool. I mean, I had one homie. I think I was in, I'm trying to say, maybe I was like in 4th grade or something. Like I think this must have been like 93 or something. And I had one homie on my class that had a snowboard, you know, so we would go to like this little kids like sledding hill, you know, this like kids sleds. And I have a twin sister and she had like moon boots and we had the same size like feet, you know.
Were they silver? The
silver? No, I think they were like blue ones or something, you know. And then my homie had like this old like Burton Air like with the cut up tail and or cut off tail and yeah. And then then he borrowed his board just for one ride down, and I think I rode the hill down. And I was like, fucking, this was the best feeling ever. And the next day we had like the winter holidays. So I told my mom and dad, like, fucking, I need a snowboard. That was the coolest thing ever, like what we did yesterday. So we went to the shop, and they bought a board for me and my sister to share. So for the first season, like every day when we got to the resort, like I would have like half of the day with the skis and half of the day with the snowboard. And then it turned to that point that I was like, actually, like when I wasn't able to snowboard, I was just like sitting in the cafe and just like I'm not gonna like ride, you know, like I'm not gonna ski, like I'm just gonna sit in the cafe instead. So for the next season, they're like, we'll buy a board, which was sick.
And what did it look like from there? Where did you take it?
Yeah, when I got my own board, then my parents bought me a season pass to a local resort, which was called Yeti, which is maybe like a 35-40 minute drive from Helsinki, and that's where I actually met up with Ika, like Eero Ettala was from there, and Lauri Heiskari and Jussi Tarvainen, like pretty much like the group of friends that we were riding with, like out of 10 guys, like 8 made it like pro, which was amazing.
Pretty sick.
Yeah. So every day, like the park was shitty. Like they had a half pipe, but it was like down with the digger, you know, like there was no pipe drag, and you said that the actual pipe fucking sucked. It was horrible. But I think that just motivated us to like build our own shit. You know, we always had like shovels, and we would like groom the jumps and like make the pipe hits and stuff. And it was the best time in life. We were always like riding like a follow the leader. You know, someone would do a trick and everybody's like had to follow and do the exact same trick. You know, so like progression was really fast amongst us, and it was competitive, but in like a really friendly way.
And you were doing half pipe contests too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like everybody was. Like that was the only way to like get noticed. Like there was no like bigger contest, there was no slope style. So it was only half pipe. So I was competing at a half pipe contest, and I think I like in the youth division, I won the ranking that season, and then I got to the Junior Worlds. So I was part of the national team, and I think I got like 7th place at the Junior Worlds, where I met the Oakley team manager. He gave me like a business card and invited me and Lauri Heiskari to go to our Arctic Challenge to be the mascots. So that's where I actually met like Terrier, and Joni Malmi was there, and like Bjorn, and like all the big dogs. So I was like, holy shit, like this is fucking cool, you know?
The one in the ski jump.
No, that was in Lofoten. Like that was, I think, the first one in Lofoten. That was sick. And that's actually, have you guys seen that photo of me like with the black eye? That was shot by Ari Markopoulos.
Legend.
Yeah, the legendary dude. Like he shot that photo. Like one day, me and Lauri were just like riding in the morning together. Like none of the pros were there. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna hit this quarter pipe. You know, like the huge fucking quarter pipe. I think I was like 15 or 14 at the time. And I barely probably made it like over the coping, but I landed on the coping, like just half of the board, and then just that bounced me like all the way to the bottom. And I hit my head. I actually had a helmet on and stuff, and I had goggles on. And something just happened. Like I got a concussion, and the only thing I ate at the breakfast was like black licorice, you know. So I was just puking black, you know. And then like the ski patrol that came over is like, what's wrong with this dude? It's like just puking black, you know.
Alien.
Yeah. So, but I think that was pretty traumatizing to my mom and dad as well. Just being at home and getting the call is like, yeah, your son is in the hospital at Lofoten. You know, like he ate shit and got a concussion. He has to stay in the hospital and stuff. But it all worked out. Like
he went 6 inches over the lip.
Yeah, like for sure tiny. Like, you know, I got a concussion, so I just can't remember too much about it. But like for sure, I went really small. Like I wasn't that great of a rider. Like just looking at Lauri and Eero Ettala and all the other guys, like Ika for sure. Like those guys were so much better. Like those guys were inspirational.
You were a back rodeo dog early though, right?
Yeah, like backflips all over the place and back rodeos. And that was the only trick. Like I was horrible at spinning like switch backside and front side, and I'm still pretty bad at it too. You know, like I was never good. I always felt like, like it felt pretty bad actually. I've never done a switch backside 9, for example, you know? And I almost like, I didn't want to tell people about it. I'm like, I was trying to pretend I'm like good snowboarder, you know, like I can spin all the ways. And I was always feeling pretty bad, like switchbacks. It's so fucking hard for me. I can't do a switchbacks at 9, you know?
Almost the full package.
Yeah, almost the full package. Exactly. But at that time in my life, you know, like I thought you have to be able to do all these tricks, you know? Even I was pretty good at doing like switchback rodeo 7s and stuff, but I was like, fucking, it's a rodeo. It's so much easier. Like I wish I could do the switchback 9.
Let's hit that Patreon question. This is an interesting one. We're gonna get some trick nerd stuff here for a hot second.
Yeah, we got a question from Benjamin Wisner. We want to thank all the Patreon members too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Benjamin. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Benjamin. Okay, here's the question. As a coach, I've had many chats with riders about how a back rodeo should be done. You have a sick back rodeo, but I believe Peter Line is the master/inventor. What edge do you say it should be done off, heel or toes?
And thank you for the props, and for sure, Peter Line is and was the master of the trick. I remember like seeing Simple Pleasures, like that was the first movie that I got from my parents for Christmas, and I would fucking just watch that part and that trick over and over again and be like, that's the trick that I want to learn. And once I learn it, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna make it now. Just that back rodeo, it was like the trick.
Oh, you're a god.
You were the god if you had that trick. And then it got to a point like if you were doing back rodeos, you were so lame because everybody was doing it because it was actually pretty easy. But to the question, I feel like I'm taking off, like I'm going like pretty toe heavy first, and then I'm going like just to the base. But I'm not going heels, for sure not heels. It feels more like a toe edge, like back rodeo thing.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with that because it's not like you're doing it off the jump. You flip once you're in the air.
Yeah.
So you go off your toes and then you dump it once you're up there.
Yeah. Like the toes give you that back 180 basically, But it's still like, it feels like you're like going on the toes like slightly, and then you're gonna like go like on your base just before the lip ends, and then you're just gonna start turning and flipping.
That's where you get the pop from your toes to the base. Boom.
Yeah, it's a good trick on like a step up or something because you can get mad pop for that.
Now, when you do back rodeo 7s, do you think like back 1 on back rodeo 5, back 3 line on a back rodeo 7, or is it the same line?
Yeah, I do. It's actually so different. Also, like if I do like a back rodeo 7 on a step up, I do it like totally different. Like I do more like a pipe wall, like I pop from the tail.
Yep.
But if I do it off of a step down or just like a part jump, then I'm gonna go like more heel heavy and trying. Sometimes it feels like just a back 3 and like look over a little bit, Mm-hmm. It feels fucking strange, but like I used to be pretty good with the back rodeo 7s, but then it got to a point when I got lost in the air. Like I just lost the trick.
Was it like one time when you got lost? Because that happens sometimes. You get lost one time and then you lose the trick.
Yeah, that happened to me for sure.
Just one time you got lost and you're just scared of it.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, let's keep it moving here. So going back to the arc of your career, you pre-run Arctic Challenge, and then what happened for you after that? How did the career evolve?
Yeah, actually, I think that the biggest like turning point was because I was riding for Alliance Snowboards at a time. I was just getting like free boards from Sweden, and then my homie who used to be like a photog for this Finnish magazine called Slammer, he was gonna set up this like Finnish Nitro team, and we were going to a like Nitro summer camp in Garmisch, Germany, and he invited me to go with them. So I went there since I didn't have like a legit sponsor at the time. So I went there and they had this like demo tent with like a bunch of boards that people could try out. So I just went there and picked up a board that I rode for the whole week. And so they had the whole team, like Lucas Hoffman was there, Tonino Copen, who actually became like the TM afterwards. And a bunch of the European guys were there too. And I was just like riding for the whole week, and people were apparently pretty impressed, So like after that week, I left with a contract. I got a contract that I was on a global team basically.
I also heard you left with a good nickname after that.
Yeah, with a good nickname. It was pretty funny because like I had these like red Oakley pants, and I was like, they were pretty baggy, and I was like sagging the pants as well, and I had these like basketball shorts underneath, but so you could basically see my ass all the time. So all these guys, they didn't know my name at all, so they were always like yelling from the lifts, like, ass man, So I was like ass man for a year, basically.
Then did you get into filming after that, or were you still doing contests?
Yeah, that was kind of the change, when I got on Nitro, and they were like, okay, like we like your style, and I think we like your personality, and I feel like your like style and personality would fit better for like filming video parts. So they actually, for the next season, they sponsored this European production called Marco Lutz, and he made a movie called Primeval, and then I filmed a part for that movie, and that's where it all started, because like that was my first like a real production that I was filming for. So after that season, that season actually ended in like Hemsedal on one of those like Burton Super Sessions, and I got invited to go there as well. So that's where I met like the standard film guys. Tim Manning was there filming at a time, and that's when Heikki was filming for Notice to Appear. And after that season, Notice to Appear, like
Switchback 10.
The Switchback 10. Like look at that trick. That's actually like the back double cork. You know,
You kind of invented it.
yeah, he invented it, but like people didn't even realize because it was like that was too early, basically.
Yeah.
And he wasn't like not flippy enough, basically. But now when you look at it back, like now when you look at that trick, you're like, that's exactly the same thing that people are doing now. But so like Heikki filmed that Notice to Appear part, and then he got invited to film for Mack Dawg. And what happened is like standard film is like, yeah, now we actually have one spot available. So like, what about your homie Heikki, that Eero dude that was in Hemsö? Like, you think he would be down to film for standard films? I'm like, yeah, you sign me up, you know. So that was sick. So I got to film for White Balance for the next season, and the crew was pretty heavy for that one too, because they had Terrier, and then Mudge Johnson was in the film, and Mark Kukoski, and John Jackson, and Matt Hammer, and that was was sick.
Freddie Kalbermatten.
Freddie Kalbermatten, yeah, fuck yeah. It was pretty funny actually, because we stayed in Saas-Fee and at Freddie's place, and we were like riding backcountry, and he's insane in the backcountry, and then there was like some bad weather days, so we actually went to the I think one of the towns like down from Saas-Fee. They had some shitty like street spots. That's where I do that down flat down from board, for example.
Yep.
And then there was like a train station down bar that we shredded, and then like Freddie's like, yeah, I'm gonna hit it too. I'm like, Freddie, maybe you should not hit this, you know, because he's not a rail dude. And then he just like slips out, and I think he broke his collarbone or something. His season was done. I'm like, sorry, Freddie, I should have not taken you to the street mission in Saas-Fee, you know, like I felt bad for the dude, but
They call him Stompy in the backcountry and Crashy in the streets.
But yeah, exactly. But he actually calls himself the Stumpy.
I know this.
Yeah, it's funny.
Self-proclaimed?
Yeah.
No way.
They call me Stompy.
Yeah. No, it's funny. Yeah. Freddie's
They're like, we'll get the Finnish kid on the rails. Well, there's a couple rails down the road.
No, it was pretty funny actually. The first time I met Freddie was in Saas-Fee. We were riding pipe, filming for Standard Films, and I did a front 9 melon in the pipe, and then he does like a cab 9 something, and then he comes to me, he's like, Eero, your front 9 was sick, but mine was bigger and more stylish than yours. I'm like, okay.
Spot on.
Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, he's good. He
and it was good. Like, it was for sure better than mine, you know. But still, like, I was not ready to hear that, you know.
Dude, how old are you in that part? That part's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think I was 17 at a time when we started filming for that part. Yeah, and I turned 18 when it came out or something. But that was the time of my life. I mean, I had no idea what it takes to film a part, you know. So I just flew to Tahoe. Like, Mike Hatchett like fully took me under his wing. I was staying at his place. I was like using his sleds or Dave Downing sleds, and they would just drive me around. Fucking, that was insane. Like, just like the learning process that I got from Mike and Tim and those guys from Standard Films, like, it was priceless. Because when we did the switch, or when I got to Mack Dawg, it was like, you know, pretty much the first thing like Brad and Mike told me is like, all right, you need your own truck, you need your own sled, you need your own place. You know, like, we're not gonna like babysit you.
Were you landing in powder that first year when you're hitting cheese wedges?
No, for sure. I think I got a cab 5 maybe, and something else. Like, I was horrible, and I was riding my park board like 55 something, like tiny, and I had no idea. Like, every time I was like, yeah, like feeling so confident in the air because I knew how to do the tricks, but I had no idea how to land. You know, so I was always trying to land exactly the same way I was riding in the park. Well, what's actually pretty funny is like you know, those 2 seasons with Standard Films. So I was filming for Lost in Transition, and I was staying at Mike Hatch's place. And one of the days, I think I was there by myself. Like, maybe, I don't think anyone else was there at that day. And then someone knocks on the door. I'm like, okay, like, I wonder who that is. And then open the door, and UC Oxen is there. I'm like, hey, how's it going? You know, and then he's just like, for sure he wanted to see Mike and not me. But he's like, all right, like, they're going to have a Mack Dawg shoot in, I think it was North Star. They were building one of these, like, butter pads, you know, like jump on a snow butter pad, like with the drop or like a step down. And he invited me to go film, like Heikki was going to be there and stuff. And that was for Chalksmack. So I went there, and I got introduced to Mack Dawg. He was there filming just from the knuckle of the jump. And I'm like, yeah, fucking Mack Dawg, I'm going to impress this guy now. And did a front 180 on top of the butter pad. I'm like, okay, switchback rodeo down, and just drifted way too much and landed on Mack Dawg. I'm like, okay. All right, I guess this is it. not gonna be filming for these guys. But he was fine, you know. But like I still like full on landed on the guy, you know. And he's a pretty like scary looking dude too.
I landed on the Steven Spielberg of snowboarding.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, exactly. So I felt pretty bad about that, you know. But like I ended up having like few clips on Heikki's part, you know, like we're doing like the front flip at the same time down the butter pad, and I had the switchback rodeo too, so I did it afterwards, and I think Mike maybe moved a little bit, like a couple feet away. But it was funny. So I got that opportunity to film a little bit for Chalks Mack and got to know Brad Kramer, and then in the summer or in the fall when the movies came out, then I got a call from Brad Kramer. He's like, so we saw you writing and we like you. Would you like to film for Mack Dawg next season? And basically what I told him, I was like, you know, like Standard Films, they always like believed in me and I wanted to stay loyal to the company. So I called Mike. I was like, I'm going to stay with you guys. Like, I'm not going to film for Mack Dawg. Even I knew that was the right place for me. I knew that was going to be like more my type of writing. Because if you look at the Standard Films movies, it's like mainly park jumps, mainly backcountry, like zero street, basically. I only had like a couple street clips in each part, and that's where I kind of wanted to be, and that's where I saw that I had more potential. And so what happened, I made the call, like I was going to like keep on filming for Standard Films. And then I called Tonino, like who's the Nitro TM, or was at a time, and he's like, yep, I heard that you made the call, you're going to keep on filming for Standard Films, and you know what? I think that's gonna affect your paycheck. I think we're gonna cut your paycheck a little bit if you don't go for Mack Dawg. I'm like, okay. I think you made it pretty easy for me to decide. Then I'm gonna go for Mack Dawg, and that was the place where I wanted to be. Like I knew that was gonna be better for my career, but also at that same time I wanted to stay loyal to people that always like believed in me. But in the end, like looking back to my career, I think Standard Films was like a good like a stepping stone getting to the big leagues in a way. And that's where I got the shine too. Like as soon as I got to film for Mack Dawg from With Love, I won the video part of the year, and then it happened the next season as well for Follow Me Around, and so that was definitely good.
What year was it where you got X Games Gold the same year you were filming?
That was 2010, and we were filming for we did the Eurogap 3. This was like a movie we made online. Basically, it was like Hampus and Jakob, and then it was like a bunch of Finnish guys like Heikki, myself, and then some other dudes.
Full party movie.
Yeah, it was more of a party movie because like Joni Malmi and Ville Yliluoma and Paavo Tikkanen used to make these like Eurogap movies. They made like Eurogap 1 and Eurogap 2, and we were like always like joking about it, like we should get the band back together and like just film Eurogap 3 because it was like really legendary for the Finnish guys. So then we filmed that movie, and that was it.
Those were big movies in Scandinavia and in Europe during that time, because it went like hand in hand with snowboarding there. That people just like you'd shred and then you'd party.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it was. And
and I think it was cool too because that was just in like the transition phase of like Mack Dawg was basically like not making videos anymore. Like it was, and Standard Films was kind of making movies, but like not really. It wasn't the same anymore. And then Absinthe was there, but they're like mainly just like backcountry focused. So there was not that much like offering for like our type of writing. So we decided like instead of like trying to create a DVD or like VHS and try to sell it, like just like make something for online and that people can watch it. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, let's go back to Mack Dawg because that's a huge opportunity. You know, Mack Dawg is kind of the top of the totem pole in terms of filming video parts. So when you switch gears and you film that part where you got video part of the year from Blank With Love, did you feel a heavier sense of pressure from sponsors? This is my opportunity. Did you want to level up?
Actually not. I think that all in all that season was so much fun because that was the first season I could just like ride with Heikki all the time. So us two just like getting a car together and like driving around US and like just feeding off each other, and I think those are the best seasons of my life. And I wasn't really feeling too much pressure. It was just too much fun, like doing it all the time, and everything was new. You know, like just being with that crew and in a way I felt like I always wanted to like the people that were around me, like Jeremy Jones or like Chad Otterström and Louis Fountain and these guys. I always wanted to like prove myself in front of those guys, you know. So that gave me the spark to ride as good as I could at that point. And I think that was the reason why I got quite a lot of footage that season too. And what I did in the summer, I actually flew to Tahoe to sit next to Brad Kramer and just like look at all my footage, and I was making sure every fucking clip was going in, you know. And now looking back to that part, I'm like, maybe I should have cut like half of those clips, you know.
That's good. That one's good.
But I think, yeah, exactly. And I think it was like a little bit easier with Brad Kramer than like sitting next to Mack Dawg, because like I think Mack Dawg was like pretty harsh on like cutting clips, and Brad was like, yeah, if you like this, let's just put it in. And it got different again, like when like the season after, when like Eero Ettala, he used to be like this Finnish snowboard filmer, when he got hired to film for Mack Dawg, like he was one of those guys. He's like, you know, we would like go like scope for spots, and he would just look out of the windows like, too small. And then we just keep on driving. Yeah, who would be the guy just saying like, okay, we're not gonna film this, like it's too small.
That was the era of that, though.
Yeah, it was. And it was good. Yeah, it was good.
So let's talk about Follow Me Around. That's the one. I know that's for a lot of people. Even Mark Mick was on the show, and he was saying that that's his favorite video part and grew up watching it. I think it's maybe possibly your opus. And it seems like you just got into a rhythm and everything worked that year. How did that unfold that season? Because it was magic.
Oh yeah, thank you. Like that's definitely one of the parts that I'm the most proud of. Like everything that season just worked out perfect. Like we had a good snow season in Finland, so I feel like I filmed the whole December back home in Finland, and we got a bunch of footage. And Jaakko already made some sort of an edit like off the footage that we got, and then he showed it to Mack Dawg. And Mack Dawg was like, all right, like this guy's serious, you know, like this. It was already at that point, you know, like if I kept going on that same phase, like it could lead to like being like the ender part for the video. Of course, like you need to get those like good backcountry shots and the good stuff for the park. But I felt really confident that season, you know, getting like good street footage. And also like that was the time when I already kind of like had been hitting like a little bit bigger stuff, but I was like, fucking like, it doesn't like make a difference if I add another 10 stairs to this front board. Like if once you get locked, you can just fucking stay there and keep going. I'm like, let's just find the biggest rails that we can. And that was kind of the mission. And that season, I feel like at least 80% of the footage that I have from the streets, I was like there by myself. Like no one else was there. Like I was there with the photog and with the filmer. It was just like a really tight crew, and I was just like so amped to get those shots. Like, I don't know if it was like the most fun season, you know, but I was so driven to get the best possible footage.
That must have felt so good. Going out of December, just stacked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was super nice. I was feeling confident. I remember showing like that because we went to Austria to film some powder, and Frode Sandbeck was there like shooting us, like taking photos of us, and we showed him like just the small part that we had from the streets, and he was looking at us like, whoa, like this could be the part of the year, like if you keep going. Like that's what he said, and that like definitely like boosted me, being like believing in myself as well, that I can fucking just keep going.
And you did. That part is insane.
Yeah. And there's actually something at the end of that part that is monumental that we have a question from none other than Mack Dawg about. Here we go.
What's up, Eero, and all the heads at the bomb hole? Eero, legend, what are you doing? Sitting there getting grilled? I know the feeling, buddy. Anyways, legendary status is acquired in many ways, but one way is with a double back rodeo 10. Can you tell us about how that went down and how gnarly that was for the evolution of snowboarding? Hope you're doing good, brother.
Wow, what a legend. Like fucking Mack Dawg. He's the man.
You landed on him.
Yeah.
You almost killed him.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But it's I feel like it was a full circle too. Like the first movie that I got was like Mack Dawg videos, and looking at him like, fuck, one day I'm gonna be in these videos. And once you got the chance, you're like, fuck, I fucking made it. Like I'm in here now. But for the back rodeo, so the story behind it is like, on one of the down days in Austria, me and Heikki were just like fooling around. We found this like little wind lip, and we were like, we should just try to learn like double backflips. And of course, Heikki, he's like does it first try, like lands it perfect.
He is the best Finnish snowboarder of all time.
Yeah, he's so fucking sick. Like Heikki's the best. But anyways, like I'm dropping like right after him. I'm like, I got this, and just like I'm fully lost in the air. It just starts spinning like super weird and stuff. Like I realized that I did a double backflip, but I had no idea like what else I was doing, just landing on my back basically. And then we go to the U.S. and then hang out at Mack Dawg's place or Brad's place, and the 16 millimeter transfers come in, and I watch the footage. I'm like, whoa, so this is the double backflip try? Like it looked like I was actually trying to do like a double back rodeo 10. And I actually started like processing the whole trick and the dynamics of it. Like what would it take for me to actually land it somewhere else? Because like what I realized, I was always landing like super tail heavy for sure. And then I gave it another try. We had a jump in Blue Lakes, Tahoe. I did a back 7 and a switch double backflip on the jump. So I was like stoked that I had 2 tricks. I'm like, okay, so on the last try, I'm like, I'm just gonna try to like do the double back rodeo. And the same thing happened. Like I was, for sure the jump was bigger, so I had like more air awareness, you know, like knowing where I was basically. But this time again, like landed like super heel heavy and landed on my back. So then I started like speculating, like what if we had like a more of a step up jump, and then I could like land like more flat base and not going downhill. So I talked to Dawger and Brad. I'm like next like park shoot that we're gonna have, like can we build like some sort of a big step up that we could actually just like go fucking fast but get like good air time, but you land like with slow speed and like flat base. And so they built this jump in Mountain Meadows. And I think we had a like all-time crew. It was like Hampus was there, and then Jakob Wilhelmsson, Scotty Arnold, Bittner was there, like a lot of cool guys. And then I just started doing, I think I did a few back 180s, a couple like back rodeo 7s. I'm like, okay, it's time to try the back, like double back rodeos 10. And I can't remember like how many tries it was, but I think it was like somewhere like 5 to 10. Like actually like I landed it pretty quick, and every try, like I landed on my base. So I felt like I could have gone it like way faster too, like, but I was just going too far, and I was like just eating shit all the time. But yeah, fuck. But it's a long time ago, like this is 18 years ago. But I just remember the feeling of like stomping and just riding away, and I'm kind of like, I have my hands like this. I'm like, yes, I did this, you know? I was, for me, it was pretty monumental. But also like being in San Diego for the premiere, like, cause like that was the time, like pre-social media time. And I wasn't like, I'm not sure if I knew that I was going to have the last part, but at least like people didn't know about the double back rodeo. Just like, sitting there and then like getting the reaction from people seeing that for the first time was unreal for sure. So that was pretty cool.
All right, we got Aaron Bittner. Oh, hold on, let me get your audio dialed in. All right, we got Aaron Bittner in the doggy door.
Check, check. Can you hear me?
Yeah, buddy.
You sound great.
You in your headphones?
Oh, yeah. You were there for the double back rodeo, huh, Bittner?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely mind-blowing back then. Like, still is. Like, were you guys just talking about that?
Yeah, we were just talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I was there for that. That was up at Meadows, right?
Yeah, Mountain Meadows.
I went up thinking I could hit this jump too, and I couldn't even make it. I think I hit the jump once or twice and could barely make it up over the knuckle. And my board was so slow. I don't know what my deal was, but I could not even hit that jump. And then watching you start trying that trick was like insane. I don't know how many times you tried it even, but you like had it coming around, and it's a perfect jump for it. Like you had another like a back rodeo 7 in like one of your first parts, like maybe your first standard parts.
White balance. He does it on the step up. Yeah.
White balance step up. And like you kind of did it the same as that when it first started coming around. You kind of like just weren't sure if you were going to do like a double backside rodeo and land switch or spin it all the way. And I think you landed on your back a couple times.
Yeah, for sure I did. Yeah, I was just claiming like every time I landed my board, I'm like, maybe I did land on my back. Yeah.
Were you planning on doing 1080 or did you want to land fakie?
I was 1080. Like just the way. Like it's actually good that you said that like the back rodeo 7 from Hempstead from White Balance, because that was the exactly same like the rotation I was thinking about, but just adding another flip basically.
Yeah. So
I was like how we were talking, like if you hit in a step up, you just like pop from the tail instead of like from the heels or like from the bottom or the toe edge, you know. So that jump was perfect, and as you said, it was a pretty tough jump to like ride.
Yeah,
I think
like
for certain,
pretty hard compression at the bottom, and the way they were salting it was crazy. Like you'd be, at least I felt like I was going super slow, and all of a sudden I'd like speed up like crazy, and it was just terrifying to hit the takeoff, and it was like such hard compression.
Like, for sure, it wasn't like a really good jump. It was a good jump for that trick, that specifically. You know, I think for like toe edge front sides, it could have worked out pretty good, or like some like backside spins. But going off the hills just wouldn't have worked at all.
Scotty Arnold, back 9, that thing, right?
Yeah, like back rodeo 9.
Or back rodeo 9, yeah, that's what it was. Back rodeo 9. That clip's amazing.
Yeah. He landed on his back.
Yeah, I was about to say that. It wasn't only me. Also, Scotty Arnold, he was landing on his back. Maybe even more than me.
So what about filming with Eero and spending time in the Mack Dawg years? How was that for you, Bittner?
So much fun. Like, outside of snowboarding, like, so much fun. Eero was just, like, always trying to make sure everybody's having a great time and really enjoying it. But as far as, like, snowboarding goes, too, like, watching Eero pick tricks at spots that did not make sense to me, and you always seemed to be able to pick like a trick that you knew would totally work and you could figure out and would be like a banger shot. You probably landed more shit than anybody almost all the time.
Not in the backcountry, no.
True. I remember, and you would just charge and like already knew your speed, already knew what you're gonna do. You'd put it down like you're gonna stomp it, and then just tomahawk.
Just tomahawk to you.
Yeah. All the time.
Like, you grew up riding park jumps where you could stomp.
Yeah.
You'd put your feet down that way to like stomp a park jump and not touch your hands down or something. And landing in POW, you just get tossed around a little bit and have to figure out the right way to like come around a little differently to put it down in the POW. So you also figured that out pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, it took me like 3 years, like the years with standard films. Like I had few powder shots in like wide balance and lost in transition, and then in like From With Love, I started having a bit more, but I was still eating shit, as you said. But I think in Follow Me Around, I kind of like I cracked the code a little bit. Okay, this is how it works, and then I started getting like more confident in the backcountry too. Basically, what I felt like is like you can still like land exact the same as in the park, but just like lift your nose up a little bit, you know. So that was the key.
That's the ticket.
Yeah.
You know, have you ever jumped with Bittner? Like his trick selection is insane. He's like, I'm gonna do a cab 7. Like that's the hardest trick you could do into powder. Yeah. Actually, Knut's the same fucking way.
Yeah. And it was sick. Like fucking, I loved riding with Bittner too, because like what I had seen from Bittner was like from the Tech 9 videos. So I always thought like Bittner was the coolest guy, you know. So being able to travel with Bittner, like going to Finland and hitting the rails, I was like, yeah, I get to hang out with Bittner, you know. It was so sick. And then like also seeing Bittner in backcountry, like as you said, the tricks he was doing, like those would be the tricks that I would never do, like the cap 7 or cap 3, and just landing switchback 3s and stuff. Mad respect.
Would you guys ever give him shit for doing crooked grinds instead of nose presses?
No, I don't think so.
Not face to face.
No, face to face.
No, for sure not. No, you should have. You should have.
No, those were like those were green light back then.
We used to call them like I called those a bag lady. I don't know. I called it like a bag lady grind or something. But that was like you did a lot of those in like Lost in Transition and like
for sure
standard movies like White Balance and stuff. But got more proper nose presses and stuff as like the standards kind of were raised and everything too. And
yeah, for sure.
All right. Lastly, Bittner, you got a question for Eero before we exit you out of the doggy door.
I love the doggy door.
For the people listening that can't see, it's a head level doggy door with just Bittner's head poking through the wall.
Fuck, I wish I had my phone. Let's take a
got a photo. I got it.
Going from like kind of like the rail section of our season to hitting some backcountry jumps, and then it was like park time, and we'd go to these resorts and they would build us like the craziest park jumps, and we'd just travel around Southern California and whatever and going to these park shoots, and some of the jumps were so fucking terrifying, and you were like always a person who could like figure out the right place to start from, test your speed out a couple times, and like go hit a jump, like a really sketchy step down or something. And I was always so impressed seeing how you could go through that process and like figure out your speed to safely kind of make it over a jump, and especially an icy, sketchy park jump. So what was your process there?
Ooh. I don't know if there's like a trick to it, but as you said, I always had like a really like good feel on like the speed. like having a couple speed checks and like braking and jumping, like, okay, like I feel like this would have been perfect. And a lot of times it worked out that way too. I don't know if there's a trick to it, but I guess it's just being like a lot of laps riding, you know, just jumping a lot and just figuring out like hitting shit.
Which is so crazy how you just stand in front of this 80-foot jump and you and your homie are just like, we're good.
Yeah, but this is actually pretty funny, like this funny story, because I was talking about those Hemsedal sessions, how they were like Burton sessions, you know? So one time they built this gigantic jump that none of the guys from the Burton like team were hitting. It was like Romain DeMarquis and like Mutch Johnson and like all the big dogs that were hitting big shit, and no one wanted to hit this jump. And then like the Burton TM comes to me, he's like, so Eero, you're not a Burton rider and no one's hitting this jump, so it's your turn. You should hit it. I'm like, okay. Then I just hiked up and hit the jump, and then like the session started. Like then people started hitting it, but he was like, he like fully told me, he's like, you got to go, man.
The guinea pigged you.
Yeah.
All right, let's, Bittner, thanks for chatting.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you popping your head in, and it's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank you, Bittner. Love you, man.
Have fun. Good luck in there.
That thing rules.
That thing's hilarious. Yeah, love that. You know, as we were just talking about, you know, you got the 16 millimeter transfer back. You were in snowboarding all through the age of film, and then it
knock. I got one more thing here.
Transitioned. Okay. Oh, yep.
Oh God.
Pardon the intrusion.
Oh, we got in and out. We got in and out.
He knows.
Your favorite meal.
Yeah.
Your favorite meal.
Wow, thank you.
Your dreams do come true in the USA.
You're the best, man. Thank you. Special delivery.
Yeah, that's a first. That's a bomb hole first. Delivery through the doggy door.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's cut for a second. Let's eat some In and Out, and we'll get back to the show.
Hell yeah.
All right, big news coming at you from the bomb hole. CAPiTA has launched their whole new collection. All of new boards are available now, so check them out. Now, of course, you got staples like the DOA. Everyone loves that thing. Everyone loves the Black Snowboard of Death. Coquard's been putting a beat down on jumps with that thing for years. And then if you're a female, the Birds of a Feather is beloved. That board is awesome. I'm also hearing the newcomers to CAPiTA are loving the Aeronaut, the Megadeth, and the Spring Break Resort Twin. You might see Joey Fava crab walking down the hill on that thing, putting a beat down on the steel. He makes that thing look awesome. And for me personally, I love the Navigator. When it comes to riding powder, riding the resort, I ride the 161 or the 164. It's huge, but it's soft. That's what I love about it. It's a big board, but you can still have fun on it. You can still maneuver it around. So the CAPiTA Navigator would be my recommendation for powder. And then for park, I love the Indoor Survival. Can't go wrong. Great board for presses, great board for park jumps. It's fantastic. And the one thing about CAPiTA that I think is really special is that their factory is handmade in Austria with 100% clean energy. All the boards are handmade, 100% clean energy. Can't go wrong. They're world-class production over there. They make great snowboards. So check out their new website, capitasnowboards.com, or your local snowboard shop, and see if you see anything you like. I don't think you'll be disappointed. All right, we're going to take a quick break and talk about one of my favorite places that exists on this earth, and that's Woodward Park City. It's fun all seasons. Now, this season is currently mountain bike season, and it's just heating up. They got rad events coming up. They got rebuilt trails, and they got some new multi-week programs for the Groms. Woodward is kicking off some brand new programs for kids as young as 3 years old starting this fall. Get them started early, skateboarding, biking, scootering, or hitting the trampolines with fun 1-hour classes. Also, if you want to sharpen your skills for this winter and learn some tricks on the rollerboard, which is basically a snowboard with roller wheels, you can chuck carcass into the foam pit. You want to learn backflips? Take it to the foam pit first. So then when the snow hits, you're ready to go. Check the details at woodwardparkcity.com and get up there and have yourselves a good time. Let's talk about bindings. Let's talk about Union Binding Co. I personally think they make the best bindings on the market. I'm biased, but I think that would be the general consensus amongst most snowboarders. We're talking buttery smooth ratchets. We're talking lots of adjustability. But most importantly, I love the clean look. Draplin did the logo years ago, and it is strong. I run the white Union Force Classics on some black pants. I think it just looks timeless personally. But you can't go wrong with any binding in the line. You know, they have a stacked team of riders. We're talking Travis Rice. We're talking Arthur Longo, Kazuhiro Kahubo, Austin Viz, Jess Kimura. The list goes on of just very talented snowboarders. And it's a company that's owned by snowboarders. It's snowboarders that care about this lifestyle we call snowboarding, and they invest in it, and they make great products. So if you're interested in getting yourself a pair of bindings, check out unionbindingcompany.com. Check out their whole line. You won't be disappointed. That was some fantastic In-N-Out Burger, boys.
That was
like
good.
it?
So fucking good.
That's your favorite spot?
Huh? Yeah, I hit the spot for sure.
Okay. I have a question here. Have you ever done a run through while smelling salt?
I have not. I'm kind of scared.
Here you go.
All right. How do I do this?
No, let me get one.
You just pinch it, and then nice catch.
Good throw.
And then I'll give you a little demonstration. Just kind of
show
grab
me.
it in the middle,
Yeah.
pinch it, and then ease it up to your nose till you smell it. Whoo, whoo. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared of it.
Do it. Get it. Hit it. Hit it.
Whoa.
There we go.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a good digestive after some In-N-Out.
That will wake you up for
Yeah,
sure.
that'll get
Wow.
you going.
Ooh.
Yep. You needed that before the back rodeo 1080, the double
for
back
sure.
rodeo. I would have probably landed at second try. You probably would have done a switchback 9 actually if you had that thing.
that's true.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. Okay, let's keep this thing moving, keep this gravy train rolling here. As you were talking about getting film transfers back, where back in the day, for people that don't know, videos were filmed in 16 millimeter film. You never saw the shots, and then you waited for the transfer, you got the clips. But you were kind of along for the ride, one of the few riders from 16 all the way through to digital. As a rider, how was that transition?
I kind of enjoyed it also, filming for 16, because I felt like, in a way, like snowboarding was more pure. You know, you just did a trick and you're like, I guess that was good enough, you know? Like, because nowadays you do a trick and then you go like, look at it, you're like, fuck, my arm was a little bit bad, you know, like my landing was a little shitty. And I think also like sometimes when the tricks are a little bit shitty, almost like has more personality to it, you know? So I think that took the magic a little bit away going to digital. But that also made it easier for me to be like more local, you know? It's like after... Like the cameras are cheaper, and then you can like have your own local filmers, so I can just stay more home and film stuff at home in Helsinki in the streets. Because like I used to just fly to US to the guys that were filming on the 60 millimeter cameras, because we didn't have any guys in Finland like that. You know, so I think I was forced to like spend so much time in the US, which was nice at a time, you know. But like once you get older and you've been spending so much time abroad, it was kind of nicer to just like stay home a bit more. Mm-hmm. And then I think that was also the time when I started focusing more like filming in the streets, you know, because that's the stuff that we have from our front door. Like we have nothing else. We got Talma, which is tiny jumps, so you can't really film those for the part. But the street stuff is pretty legit in Finland. You've been to Finland, so you know.
Oh yeah, yep. And that's a good thing. At the beginning of your follow me around part, you mentioned Talma. I don't remember how long you say the run is up top to bottom, and how you get so many laps. But yeah, how did riding Talma help during your pro career, having it right there in Helsinki?
It's definitely really helpful, because like if you lived in the Alps, for example, you know, like if the weather is shitty, like you would not go up, and also like there's always like long lift lines, and like just getting up to the resort just takes forever, and also just getting laps takes forever, you know. So in Talma, I think it's like, I don't what do I say? It's like 30 seconds or 1 minute to go up and come down. Basically, that's what I say in the intro of Follow Me Around, and that's true. So you get so many fucking laps. You just ride there for like hour and a half, 2 hours, and you're done, and you get like 100 runs a day.
You ever do that and then go to a spot?
I've done that before for sure, but nowadays definitely not. You know, I just save all my energy to the spot.
I love easily accessible snowboarding, because it's closer to skateboarding. You're just like, I'm going to go to the skate park. It's not this big ordeal where you got to drive, 2 hours up the mountains and wait in lift lines. You grab your skateboard, you go to the skate park. You grab your snowboard, you go to Talma. It's a similar experience.
And also like the stuff that they have in Talma is like, it's more like skate park style. Like everything's kind of small. So in a way, like you can get more creative too, because you're not scared to hit anything. So that's kind of like, you get comfortable with your like regular tricks, and then once you're bored doing those, then you should start like figuring out what else to do.
This is a total sidebar. I'm going to derail this whole fucking conversation right now.
Here we go.
For my own personal interest. Yoni Malmi does a back 180 tail tap on like a button lift. Is that Talma from In Technical Difficulties at Night? I don't know if you know the show.
I know the shot. He actually does a method. Like a tail bonk. Yeah, that's Talma. But that's when they had the hip on the left side. It was a little bit closer to the lift line. I think once Yoni Malmi did it, they're like, okay, maybe the hip is a little bit too close to the lift line, you know? Maybe when they notice, maybe that's like a no-go.
Yeah, it's legendary. What about this Finnish invasion? You guys all coming over. Who are the Finns that paved the way before you guys came and barged the scene with I-Man and all those guys?
It would have been like Joni Malmi, like Ville Yliluoma, and then Joni Mäkinen and Jussi Oksanen.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, those were the guys, but there was like, you remember Sebo Kuhlberg? He was a guy that was riding with Terrier in the prime, but he wasn't maybe not as good as Terrier, you know, but like he thought he was, basically, one of those guys. But yeah, Seb was pretty sick, but he was like the first generation, you know, like those guys. But then like the next generation where they actually were killing it was like Jussi, Joni, and then Joni Malmi, Joni Mäkinen, and Ville Yliluoma. So I think once those guys made it pretty big in the US, it was kind of like there was this like more like need for Scandinavian riders. So I felt like it was pretty easy like to make it in the scene being Finnish or Norwegian or Swedish in a way.
So we've been talking a ton about video parts, but you had a couple monumental contest wins. I don't know where this stacks in your career, but the Toyota Big Airs seemed like a legendary moment in your career. Or were they, the Toyota Big Air, is that what they're called?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Toyota Big Air. I think I rode or I competed at Toyota Big Air like 9 times, and I was on the podium like 7 times, like 8 times or something like that. Pretty much every time I went there, I somehow ended up on the podium. And that was a good contest for me. I think the season when I learned the switch double back was in the backcountry in Austria filming for From With Love. And that same season we went to Toyota Big Air and then ended up landing the switch double back also in a contest and won it. And that was huge. But I mean, I don't think like everything that happened in Japan was kind of like stayed in Japan. Like I don't think anyone else in the snowboarding industry like heard about it really. But it was a big deal for me for sure. I think it was like the prize money was like $30K, and flying straight from like Japan, like I flew to the US. I had like this little paper bag with like $30K in my backpack, you know, just like, you know, I remember like meeting Heikki at the airport in like Reno, Nevada. And so we just from the airport, we like walked straight into like the car dealership and bought a car, cash, you know. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, I heard all kinds of stories about people smuggling cat, because I don't think you're actually supposed to do that.
No, 10,000 is the limit.
Yeah.
Completely illegal, Eero.
Yeah, that was illegal for sure. But I don't think like at a customs, they're looking at me, they're like, this guy definitely doesn't have 10K in his backpack, you know?
You were a god in Japan during that time. Yeah. Everyone in Japan knew who you were.
Yeah, it was those seasons were definitely good. Like those 10 years, and I basically just went there to compete. Like I wasn't even riding powder. Like every time I was just like hit that scaffolding jump and get hell out of there just to go film, basically. But those were like.
Can you talk about that environment? Because they looked like some of the most electric contests I've ever seen.
Yeah, well, it's insane. Like it was at this like I think it's a baseball stadium, like outside, and fucking 10,000 people, 20,000 people watching, and it's just like the noise and the crowd was like unreal. And always like at the after parties too, like just the Japanese people like all over the place. I mean, oh yeah, like I guess that's the closest you can get to like feeling like a rock star being a snowboarder. Like it was unreal for sure.
What tricks? I think you put down a couple like tricks that were very ahead of their time around that. Did I see a back 10 that you did before anybody was doing back 10s?
Yeah, I did a back 10 too, but that was pretty ugly actually. That was the first. No, that was the second back 10 that I landed because I did one in Follow Me Around also like with mute grab, but it was like fully flat, so I had to like let go of the grab, just kind of like straighten it out a little bit so I can land on the base. But also, so I tried this. I'd never done it with melon, so I tried it at a contest. I used to have this thing that at a contest I would just try tricks that I haven't landed before, basically.
Sounds smart.
Yeah,
it's good technique.
It was good because at freestyle, this
pre-airbag.
Pre-airbag. There's a funny story at this contest in Zurich. It was called Freestyle CH, and they had this like scaffolding jump. I think it was like September, and they had this like qualification. So I made it through the qualification, and then the next one was like semifinals. So I think it was like 10 riders, like, but it was more like a jam format, and everybody would get like, let's say 5 tries. So I ended up doing my tricks. I think it was like back rodeo 7 and cab 9 or something like that, like the basic stuff that I used to do like in the contest. And I was like standing on the top, I was like with Elias Elhart, and I saw him doing like the back 10 double, like with the melon grab. And I asked him, like, how do you do that trick? And he's like, the way he explained it to me, and he's like, basically just do like a back 7, but instead of like letting go the grab, just hold the grab and just go for another 360. I was just like, the way like he explained it to me, like I could visualize it in my head. I'm like, wow, that sounds like, that makes sense, you know? Then it's my turn to drop in. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking do this back 10. And landed it like first try and won the contest with that trick. It was crazy. Like I couldn't believe it. Like the way that trick comes around, it just feels so natural. Getting the last cork, it's like a cab 5 basically. So it sets you like really good on your base, and like it's so easy to ride away from it. But it's just like that feeling of doing it for the first try, like not really knowing how it's gonna feel like. And then you just ride away and like land the trick, you're like, what?
So Elias Elhart does it back 10 melon.
Yeah.
He goes up, he's all hyped.
Yeah.
You're right behind him, and you're like, hey, Elias, how do you do that trick? And he explains it to you, and you do the exact same trick as him, and you beat his ass.
Yeah,
He must have been hyped.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah.
Thanks for clarifying that. Ken.
Okay.
Thank you just for clarifying that.
But that's how it happened. It's like, but some like I was always like a pretty good like backside spinner and cap spinner. Like those are where they like easy.
Not
like,
switch backside.
Not switch backside. Like let's make it clear. And but for sure. But yeah, but that was pretty funny. And it walking away with the win. And that was the trick that I would like actually do a lot afterwards, because that's also for X Games and stuff. And the other trick that I won with was like the because that was like 2009 in September, and like the X Games was like 2010, so the same season basically. And I also had a contest in like South Korea, and it was also a scaffolding jump. And then there, I was also like in the finals. I landed a switch double back or something. I got a pretty good score for it, so pretty much had nothing to lose. So I'm like, fucking, this time I'm just gonna try the double back rodeo 9. I had done the 1080 already by then, but never the 900. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna try it. And also landed it first try in a contest and won with that trick. And then going into X Games, I had these like 2 new tricks that I felt like I could maybe pull it off. And I would like to be able to link it up in the actual run was pretty sick, you know. Because I guess at that time I was like the first one to do like 3 like double corks. Like, I mean, it was double flips more or less, but to like link up 3 different like double flips in a row. So I think that was pretty cool.
What was the best you'd ever done in X Games before that? Because you definitely weren't the favorite around that. Like Andreas Wig was probably putting down crazy runs and all that.
Yeah, I think I was 4th like a year before, 2 years before. So I got pretty close. I think it was like Sean maybe got 3rd place or something, you know. And, yeah, but definitely wasn't the fan favorite, for sure not. And also like the fact, you know, because like I barely like made it through the qualification. Like I was the 8th guy, you know, like I was on the bubble. So I was the first one to drop in for the finals too. Like, and then having that run on the first run, like everybody had 3 runs. And I knew after that run, like that was the best I could do. So for those 2 second runs, I was just like doing back 180s and frontside 360s and stuff, and just like waiting to see if anyone could like top my score.
Completely arrogant.
Yeah, no, but not.
I got this in the bag.
No, but not at all. I mean, like the score was good, but like for sure they were scared to give me like a really good score because I was the first one to drop. But at the same time, I just knew like I didn't have anything else. Plus, you know, like I wasn't riding that much park at a time, so I was like also a little bit like nervous, like doing this trick over and over again to try and like get it even a little bit better. I just felt like that was like good enough.
Do you think there were other riders there that could have beat you at that time? With their runs? Do you remember their runs?
I think, I can't remember the runs, but I think Haldor, for example, I think he would have had, because he was doing like double corks, like frontside doubles and stuff, and also backside 12s, I think, you know. So there were people that had the tricks to like one up my run for sure. Because Sage was there, and then Chaz was there, and Haldor.
Oh, and Chaz was there too.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering too, just for the listeners that don't know, like a general slopestyle guy goes to Saasve. Well, nowadays they go to an airbag all summer, and then they go to Saasve and they chuck on park jumps, and then they go to New Zealand, they go to Australia, and then they basically just pound out park jumps all day long 365 all year so they can put down these runs. Now, did you do any formal, all right, I got X Games coming up, I got scaffolding coming up, or are you just front boarding the down bar, putting the board in your bag, and then going to chuck at a contest?
Yeah, that's basically what happened. I was just like concentrating on filming the Eurogap 3 part. Like I wasn't training for X Games. And the only time I did that back then was at the Freestyle CH in September, and then doing that double back rodeo 9 was like at the South Korea contest. And that was like my practice basically. But going into X Games, like already sitting on the flight, I knew how the course was going to be because I had been there before. I knew there was going to be 3 jumps. I knew like my like ideally perfect scenario like run would be like the back 10, like back double 9 and rodeo 9 and the switch double backflip. So I knew like I would have it in me in a way, but it also like I have to be pretty lucky to be able to put down all those tricks in a row. So I got super lucky for sure.
And at a certain point in time, I noticed that you switched with the 9. You said you did your first double back rodeo 9 in the big air contest, but you switched to mute grab. And did you just think about that in your head? Like if I switch my grab, I won't open up as much and want to over rotate?
Yeah, exactly. That's the fact. You know, like with the mute grab, I was able to like hold the flip like more like straight, and then like do like full on like 2 backflips, and then like turn that back 180. But if I was to grab melon, I would start spinning more like a 1080. So that was the reason.
So you figured that out in your brain, took it to snow, it worked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. For first try. Yeah.
First try,
Yeah. It was crazy.
Figured it out in economy class on the way over. I think I got this.
Yeah. But no, I think I figured that out as a scaffolding jump in South Korea. Like, 'cause when I was waiting for my turn, like I already like had a good trick down, and I think I was gonna be on the podium anyway. So I got nothing to lose. I'm like, yeah, I think this trick makes sense. And then
was Elias there?
Elias was not there. I don't think this time I asked advice from anyone, but I think maybe Marko Koski was there. I told him I was gonna maybe try it or something like that, but yeah, that worked out. That was really cool.
So basically the advice for this is like, if you want to do well in a big air contest, don't practice except for maybe the practice of the jump session for the event.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and also like in the and also in the practice of X Games, you know, like because I'm always the guy, like if I practice too much, then like
you lose it.
I lose it in a way. I feel like then it's gonna be like the bigger odds that I won't land in the contest anymore. So at a practice of the finals of X Games, I was doing back 7, back 180, and switch straighter just to feel out the speed, you know. So that was my run, you know, like all the time. So I wasn't trying to double flips at all. So
switch straighter though on the bottom big jump. That's actually kind of gnarly.
Sketch.
Yeah, kind of sketchy. But I don't know. Like, I mean, that's kind of the only trick where you can like feel the speed for the switch double back because you're going so straight off the takeoff. So that felt like the most natural thing to like get close to it. And then doing a switch backflip, you know, the single one, is also pretty sketchy because you can like just start flipping it too fast and then it's sketchier than a double almost.
The other riders there must have just been watching you like, Eero's got nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude.
This is a USASA Nationals 12 and under run he's putting down here. Yeah. So don't practice your run in practice. That's also what I'm learning from this. And then if you need to get some advice from somebody at the top, learn how to do the trick and then steal the trick and then win the event.
Ask the guy with the first place score. What'd you do? How do you do that? Okay, thank you.
But I mean, like at that time, I think that was kind of the turning point when like competing wasn't getting that fun for me anymore. Because I used to always compete against the guys that I would film with, you know. So we would joke around like at the starting gate, just like, when was the last time you did a back 9? It was like 3 months ago. You know, like everybody would be on the same page. But once you started competing against the guys that only competed, it just wasn't that fun anymore because you knew they would like stick their runs every time. And I wasn't feeling that consistent.
Well, that's fantastic. We actually have a guest question from none other than the legend, Heikki Sorsa. Here we go.
Yo, Eero, brother from another mother. It's Heikki Sorsa here. Hope you're having fun at the booth today. And hi to everybody else who's there with you. I have 2 questions for you, man. What's the most memorable trip we had together on and off snow? Because we've been traveling together a long time. And the second question is, what's up with cooking with gas? Tell us about that a little bit and what was going on back then. Hope you're having fun. Peace.
Yeah, Heikki's the man. I just too many trips to talk about, but I think always the funnest memories with Heikki was, filming for Mack Dawg, for example, like having a session at Big Bear, like filming, and then Mack Dawg saying it's like, for the next week nothing's happening. Like everybody else from the crew were Americans, so they would just go home, and we were like, where the fuck should we go now? And we were always like, let's go Vegas. So we always always pretty much went to Vegas and just like partied for like a couple of days and then just got back to filming again. So it was pretty funny. And those times were pretty memorable for sure. Like not good for the wallet, not good. Not good, but like, let's leave it there. Don't want to talk about those trips too much. But with Cooking with Gas, it's, we did Cooking with Gas for 3 seasons together with Heikki and also Lauri was part of it. But it was pretty cool because I got injured after X Games. I blew my ACL on my right knee like that same spring. So I was basically out for the next season because I wasn't out for 2 seasons, but I fixed my knee. It was good, and then I got to ride for 1 month, and then I blew my knee again. So I was basically out for 2 seasons straight. And so I had some time off. I was just sitting on the couch, and Heikki was filming for People. And then for the season after, I was like supposed to get also filming. I was supposed to start filming for People as well. And then I was just asking around people like, what did you guys like about the movie and stuff? And everybody was like, I just haven't seen it yet. I'm like, why would we just sacrifice the whole season filming for a video that people don't watch? Should we try to do something else just for ourselves? And then me and Heikki, we just got together and we're like, let's just hire a filmer and start like producing webisodes. And I talked to Nick Hamilton at Transworld and he was down to like promote it and put it on their site. And then we started doing it. I think it was a good time to do webisodes because there wasn't too much out there. And I think we were in the forefront of like putting out the A-grade footage throughout the season, So I think that the traction we got was pretty good. And it was fun for a couple seasons. But then it gets pretty stressful too. Like when you're like producing webisodes, you have to be on it all the time. Like, cause we had a plan of like making 5 webisodes a season. And then suddenly you feel like you're like fighting against the time. You're like, okay, the next webisode we have to drop it in like 2 weeks and we still have to make the trip to film for it, So, and then it gets to a point when you always go to the same places where like we know the spots, we can get the tricks that we need, and then it just got a little bit boring. But those trips were really fun. I mean, like hanging out with Heikki all the time and Lauri. Some of the best days for sure. And it was like a good learning process of like producing your own shit, like actually like it's not rocket science. Like, you just hire a filmer and then you just edit with the filmer and just check out like how to do it. And that was cool.
You were always like at the forefront of that kind of stuff, doing the next thing in snowboarding, how you would see or how you'd show snowboarding. Like the Cooking with the Gas was probably the first snowboard webisode ever.
Yeah.
Why or what is it about you that makes you so, different in a way? Because you're always just doing new shit.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
I think also maybe it was like just being nervous and scared of like being washed out and like people wouldn't care anymore. Like if you always do the same shit, like people just get bored. So I'm always like, what's the next thing that we could do to kind of like to stay relevant? So that was kind of like the point why we wanted to do the webisodes, to do something new. Which like it would have been nice if Mack Dawg was still like making videos. It would have been like a safe place for everybody just to stay there and film for Mack Dawg because like people love the movies, But since Mack Dawg was done, I felt like we just had to figure something else out.
Yeah, it's as the internet became more of a presence and DVDs weren't being sold and you had to buy it on iTunes, it seems like there was like a slow death of the big production snowboard video, and you were able to see that while it was happening.
Yeah, and at the same time, it's like you sacrifice your whole season like trying to get this footage, and then if people don't watch it, like why do you do it? Like for sure, if you do something and you want to put it out, you want people to see it. So I guess that was just like the fact, like why we wanted to do it. Like we wanted to do something that people get to watch for free. Mm-hmm. And it worked out for a couple seasons, but then I feel like there was just like overload of webisodes, and then we just kind of got lost in the mix.
Well, here at the Bomb Hole, we love snowboard videos, so we're going to get into a segment of the show. Knut, do you know what this is, maybe?
It's your worst nightmare, Eero.
Uh-oh.
What's it called?
Name that video part.
Okay. How you feeling, Eero?
Like if you would have asked me like 10 years ago, I would have said, oh, like well, what's the scale?
0 to 10.
0 to 10. I would have said 10. Like I would have been so confident, but with this like brain that I have now, like from not sleeping for the last 4 years, like I would say 3.
You're gonna blame it on your kids?
Yeah, I'm gonna blame it on the kids. But I'm
Dude, how many kids do you have?
3 kids.
Yeah, I get 2. But I think maybe you're gonna be gentle on me. I think you're gonna just play like a Heikki Sorsa part or something.
I gave you a meatball. I think you're gonna get it. I did my research, but
Okay.
I'm sorry, this one's probably too easy. Here we go.
Yeah, this is Peter line.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and it is simple pleasures,
Yes,
right?
it is.
Yeah,
yes, it
perfect.
is. Congratulations.
I was a little bit scared.
Peter
I was a little
Line,
bit nervous,
Simple
yeah.
Pleasures. Yep. The way you looked, I didn't think you had it, actually.
Yeah, I had it. I knew it was Peter Line, but I just wasn't sure if it was. Yeah, but now thinking back when you said it's simple pleasure, now I know like the tricks and stuff.
Yep. And you talked about the back rodeo earlier.
Nicely done.
That's what it's from. Part 2 is for our listeners. If you know this video part, comment on the photo of Eero on our Instagram. You will get a sticker that says, I won Name That Video part, and all I got was this stupid sticker. So congratulations to whoever gets it. Here we go. Godspeed. Okay. Thank you guys for playing Name That Video part. All right, we're going to interrupt this programming to talk about one of my favorite brands, Autumn Headwear. Their motto is Style Matters, and it shows. If you look at their team, they got some of the most stylish riders on the planet. It's rider-owned. This is a brand owned by snowboarders. Brad Alband is the genius behind it. He's done great work over there. And they have great fits on the beanies, most importantly. You know, here at the Bomb Hole, we love what we call a deep resi fit, the reservoir tip, so to speak. So they have the surplus fit, which is kind of a resi. They have the shorty fit, which is shallow. You might catch Silk D wearing one of those. They also have the simple fit that's right in between. And I was just on their website. The apparel is impeccable. So great company, rider owned. If you're interested in getting a great beanie this winter, head on over to autumnheadwear.com and use promo code BOMBHOLE for 20% off your order, and keep that dome piece looking great with an autumn bonnet. Now, do you find yourself slowing down a little bit in your older age, maybe getting off hill a little earlier? Well, you could be dehydrated. 75% of Americans are dehydrated. And that goes up when you're at elevation, when you're in the mountains. So I drink Bubs Hydrate or Die hydration packets. There's 2,000 milligrams of electrolytes. There's no added sugar. There's no artificial flavors. Let me tell you, when I'm hydrated, I ride better. I can ride longer. I have more energy. All in all, my vitality is just better. So if you're interested in picking up some Bubs Naturals Hydrate or Die, head on over to bubsnaturals.com and use promo code BOMBHOLE for 20% off your order. And stay hydrated, people, with Bubs Naturals Hydrate or Die. All right, we got a special announcement from Gozney Pizza Ovens and the Bomb Hole. If you go on their site and you type in BOMBHOLE20, you'll get 20% off your Rock Box pizza oven, and these things kick ass. We just did a barbecue for Steven's birthday party. It was a surprise shindig. Kyle brought one of these things over. You plug it into some propane, you throw some dough with some toppings on it, and boom, a minute later, you got a delicious pizza. Cooks at 950 degrees. And I'll tell you, pizza tastes better when you cook it yourself. That's a scientific fact. You'll be a golden god at the cookout with a Gozney pizza oven. So be sure to check them out. They do cool stuff for snowboarding. They support events like Be Somebody, the Dust Box event, and they supported our event, Dogfight, showed up, cooked pizzas for everybody. They were all delicious. So definitely don't sleep on Gozney. It's a great gift for a loved one, great gift for yourself. If you like good food, get yourself a Gozney pizza oven for the backyard. They are awesome. And our special offer is, if you go to Gozney.com and you use the promo code BOMBHOLE20, you will save 20% off your Gozney Rock Box. Again, BOMBHOLE20 for 20% off your Gozney Rock Box. You will not be disappointed. So check them out. Cook different with Gozney. All right, you talked about blowing your knee. How many knee surgeries total are we looking at?
8. So I got 2 on the left and 6 on the right.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's quite a lot. But last surgery I had was like back in 2015, so it's almost 10 years ago. So I've been like pretty good now.
You've been in the spandex on the road bike.
Yeah. That helps for sure.
How much does that cost? How much did that cost you?
Well, basically nothing because I got the insurance. I mean, I pay for the insurance, but then it was good.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for. I mean, there's a lot of snowboarders who don't have insurance, and then that's like a life ender.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive for sure. And I had the good doctors too, like the doctors that are like the like doing the surgeries for like Finnish Olympic team. So I was working with those guys.
Can I have a request? Ender, you got all the footage of the surgery. I hate looking at that, dude. I can't. I don't know if I got a weak stomach when you see the tube going into your knee. Man, brutal.
Yeah, that makes me feel bad too. Like I can't. Like, how did that guy film it? Just being in there in the room is like, yeah, this looks sick. Yeah, I'll just film it a little bit. Yeah, it's gross for sure. Like I'm gonna start feeling bad too when I see that stuff. But it was pretty funny because like when we put that footage in the Ender video, and then Red Bull saw it, they're like, could we just like grade it down a little bit? So they made it like gray, so it kind of looks like I'm dead. So it even looks worse. It's just like, oh, my body's just gray. You're like, oh, that doesn't look good.
So on this show, people that send us messages are commonly like, man, I just got my first injury. It's been really hard. I've been struggling. Like injuries fuck people up. When you're injured, it can be a depressing time. And you've had 8 knee surgeries, so I'm sure you got a wealth of information. And what's the keys to bouncing back from an injury when you're down and out like that?
It's for sure like the dedication, commitment on getting back and just staying motivated for sure. It's always like the first weeks are the hardest because like you're just on the couch basically. But as soon as you get the okay to start like walking on crutches or like getting in the pool or like start cycling and stuff, I always felt like it was more of a motivating process, because like from step by step, you're like fucking like after 1 month, like I'm able to walk. And then after 2 months, like I'm able to run. And then after 3 months, I'm able to play badminton, or that kind of stuff. So it's like step by step, you feel like, okay, I'm getting closer to the finish line, which is like getting back on the board. So I always looked at it like a nice challenge. So I like for sure, like I don't think it was a good thing to get injured, but like looking back to it now, I think I grew as a person quite a lot. Also like going through those phases. I remember this one time, I think when the Nitro video came out, where I actually blew my knee out, and it was something like, okay, I filmed a month for this video, and then it said something like, okay, and then he ends up in a surgery with the ACL, fucked up ACL, and there was like one comment from a guy just saying like, okay, like goodbye Eero, like this is it for him, and it was like, and that lit the spark in me, like I'm gonna show this fucking guy, like I'm gonna get back, like even stronger, and but that was also the turning point. That's when I like quit competing and I started just focusing on getting better and like trying to like film video parts instead. Because it's pretty like challenging like at that time, like having that many knee surgeries and also being a little bit older in the game, like still trying to compete against the younger guys. So that's when I made the call. It's like, okay, like I'm not going to try to compete anymore. I'm just going to film, So it kind of takes off the pressure of being like that high performance like snowboarder afterwards as well. So I could just concentrate on like these little things that I feel comfortable riding. Mm-hmm. And I don't have this guy at that start gate like pushing me down. It's like, hey, it's TV time, you gotta go, because I always hated that. Like no matter like if it was shitty weather, like snowing or windy and stuff, like you still had to go.
Cool. Did you feel any pressures from any of your sponsors when you were getting hurt throughout those time? Or did you get any vibes from anyone just like,
I think like I was definitely putting like pressure on myself a little bit, just like fucking like what are these guys thinking? And the good thing is like just before I got hurt, I had that X Games win. So when my sponsors were pretty stoked on that, so I felt like maybe I'll be fine for a couple seasons if I won't even like produce that much content. Mm-hmm. But also like throughout my career, I always stayed loyal to the companies that I work with, because I've been with Nitro since like 23 years. I got on Oakley in 99, which was 25 years, so I felt like I I built that like trust between us in a way. Also that relationship, like like if you're a pro snowboarder, you're gonna have like ups and downs. And I had like a couple bad seasons, but at the same time, I was trying to be as active as possible. I told him like, okay, I'm hurt now. Like if you guys need me for something else, like fucking trade shows or distributor meetings, like just hit me up. Like I'm available. So I made myself like more available at that point as well. Like I said, I was ready to work, even I wasn't like able to snowboard.
Yeah, you've always been I consider you as like probably the best professional snowboarder in the world because you have the skill level and you're proactive and you're always pushing the limits of like what to do next in snowboarding, how to produce it. And then also like when you're hurt or you have time, you always reach out to us and other sponsors and like, what do you guys need? I'm here for you. There's not many snowboarders like that, actually.
Good advice. Yeah.
Thank you. And I think there's a difference. I've been thinking about this too, like, because there's a lot of riders that like ride for the company, and I feel like it makes a big difference if you ride with the company, like, or ride, in a way, like you're more like involved what they're doing. Like even with Nitro, like we always have these chats. We're like, what could we do next? And I'm pitching my ideas, and you guys tell me your ideas. Like, well, how can we like do better stuff together? Because some people are just kind of like, I'm so fucking good. I'm just gonna get sponsored. I'm gonna get money and stuff, and I just ride and do nothing else. And I think once that stops, that you're not like the top of the game anymore, I think the career could be over. So if you build up that relationship and the trust with the sponsors, like you can go a real long way for sure. And also the loyalty pays off. Because in the early days when I had those Mack Dawg parts and stuff, like I definitely had options to go like elsewhere as well. But I wanted to like stay loyal to Nitro.
Let's just talk about who's throwing you potential offers.
No, I think like I was talking to like David Benedek at that time to like start riding for Solomon, and also like Head Snowboards was offering me a deal, and then it was like Rusty. Remember Rusty was making like clothing and stuff, but yeah, I think those companies.
You've been with the same brands for freaking 100 years.
Yeah, if I look back, it's like Oakley for 25 years, and then Nitro 23, Red Bull that was since 07, so that's like 18 years now. And then School Candy for 14 years. So it's long relationships for sure.
How's Knut as a team manager? That's what I want to know.
He's the worst.
God, what the hell?
Yeah. No, he's the best. Like I fucking love Knut. Mm-hmm. It's easy working with the guy that actually snowboards too.
He's okay.
I'm not better than Eero.
He's pretty good. You're not better.
I'm not better.
Are you better than the team rider? Eero Ettala.
Not better. No.
Okay.
He can tell me anything. I'll be like, yes, Eero.
You guys can both cab 9. You're both goofy though. That's good. Those are good traits.
It is so fun to ride with Eero though, because he is just like he's like a little kid when he snowboards still. If we ride with him, he just gets so hyped on like an underflip. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, God, this is sick.
But it's hard. Like sometimes I feel like it's hard to be on these like Nitro shoots because there's like 50 riders, and like there's a lot of good fucking riders riding the big jumps and stuff, and I'm not at that level anymore. So I'm always trying to like work my way around. It's like, okay, like there's this cool little quarter pipe. Let's set up a tube on top of it and do something that looks good on photos and videos. So I'm trying to like use my strengths instead of like just trying to like do something that I'm not that good at anymore, that where there's a big risk of getting hurt too, So I'm trying to be like pretty smart about it now.
No, it's smart. And at those shoots, it's funny because we'll do like a big jump session. Like, okay, everyone hit the big jump. It's going to be sick. All cameras, let's get this. And I'm like, what the fuck is Eero? Just looking around, he'll be like down the corner, like in the flat bottom, and there's like a tube. And I'm like, there he is. But you always get cool shit.
Yeah.
You do you, which is awesome. And it works.
Yeah, but yeah, it's cool because we got these like, with the Nitro team too, like we got Benny Urban and Dominic Wagner and stuff that I like to ride with, and they kind of like ride similar way than I do, so it's cool to have those guys. Because I used to hate on going like Oakley shoots, like big on, like we would go to Mammoth and you ride with Renee and Seb Toots and Mark McMorris, you're like, fuck, like I'm not as good as these guys, so I just feel shit all the time.
Yeah. And then, if you have to, you can bonk Knut's forehead, which brings you back to another point. When you have the Lego guy make animation with the Legos of the bonk, you made it.
We made it.
You guys made it.
Yeah.
I'd say that's your career highlight.
It's like 8 million views.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, that was sick. Yeah, I was stoked on that because I had seen those clips already online. I'm like, fucking, I wish like one day I get my own Lego. And that's cool.
It was sick. My daughters were bummed because I was the guy getting bonked.
Oh, yeah.
They were like, oh, cool, that's you, Papa, hitting that guy. I'm like, I'm the guy getting hit.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Cool. Silk, let's run up a couple Patreon questions. We have a bunch on here. You can choose your own adventure. Maybe the candy one could be good.
Okay. We'll start with this one. This one's from Riff Dog Homeboy. Ask it a lot of questions. Thank you. This question is, what's your favorite Finnish candy?
Oh, my favorite Finnish candy. Like, I would have to say it's like this classic Finnish, like, milk chocolate. It's like Fatser milk chocolate.
Fatser?
Fatser.
Sounds good.
Phaser. Yeah.
Americanized.
I think that would be it. I used to eat a lot more candy. Now it's more like chocolate and ice cream. But
You used to eat so much candy.
Yeah, so much
You were
candy.
just like gummy bears, Skittles,
Yeah, that used
Sour
to be,
Patch
actually,
Kids
that used to
all
be
the
so
time.
funny when we were filming for Mack Dawg, like going in the backcountry, and then you have like Jeremy Jones and these guys like full on set up like subs and like pizza stuff and like all the like real food. And then me and like Heikki show up. I'm like, I got a Pepsi and gummy worms for the whole day, you know? What the fuck are these guys doing?
A can of Pepsi.
Yeah.
But that's what's funny. So funny. You think about, you film your white balance part when you're 15. Like nobody taught you. You're just like, go off in the world, be a pro snowboarder. Nobody's like giving you nutritional facts. You're just like, if I eat candy, I can do a Cap 9.
Yeah, no, it was pretty funny. And it was always like me and Heikki were on the same page. And like, Heikki's just like, there's smoking cigarettes and drinking Pepsi. And I'm eating gummy worms. We're like, yeah, fuck, let's go hit the jump. That was funny.
Okay, we're going to get into some Patreon questions. This Patreon question is brought to you by Nidaker Snowboards and Craig McMorris. Let's tee it up, Craig.
Hey folks, Craig McMorris here. It is snowing in beautiful Whistler, British Columbia. That means it's time to buy some new snowboard boots, and there's only one place you should go to do that, Nidaker Snowboards, okay? I like the Rift, I like the Index, and I love the CAPiTA. Eternal heel lock, it's a solid boot. It goes with everything. Great in the Supermatic binding as well. Okay, I love the CAPiTA. I love this question for our guest, Eero Ettala, St. Matthias. You win a pair of Nidaker snowboard boots. He asks you, Eero, what is your favorite video part of your own? You can't pick somebody else's. Which one is your favorite? Excited to hear your answer.
Yeah, I would have to say it was the follow me around part. Just like how it, in a way, like boosted my career. You know, it was like the milestone of my career, basically. You know, that just changed everything. And also looking back to it, that's when I was like in my prime, like being like the most overall that I've ever been. You know, like having like good mix of backcountry and street and park riding, and having that double roadie as well, like doing something that hasn't been done in snowboarding before. So that's definitely the one that I'm the most proud of.
I was wondering, in picture this, you have just one of the most hefty backlips ever done on a snowboard. Walk us through that one, because that thing is gnar. It's on that wooden rail.
Oh yeah, that's on that. Yeah, fucking yeah. That was actually pretty funny because like I saw a photo of this rail at a Finnish website, but I had no idea. It said something. I think it just like a name of the town, like where it was. So I think it was like 3 hours away from Helsinki. I just drove there. I'm like, I gotta find this rail, and I just couldn't find it. And then I go into like supermarket and I asked just the worker there. I just like showed her the photos. Like, does this like rail look familiar to you? Like, do you know where this is? And she's like, yeah, it's at the motel. It's like behind the motel. I'm like, sweet. And then I just drove there and like checked it out. I'm like, this is the rail that needs to be hit. So I think a couple days after, like I do another trip, like just. This was a scouting mission, you know, so I just went to check it out, like, because I wanted to make sure, like, it's good. So then I drove back home, and a few days after I came back to hit it. And then, you know, at the back lip, I had one of these, like, nitro edgeless boards, and I made it work, but it's like, there was not that much snow, and there was a lot of fucking compression, because you landed on the ice. And on one of the tries, I rode away, but I tweaked my in the landing a little bit, and then tore my ACL. But I didn't know better because like that was the first time I really got injured, you know. So basically, the funny thing is like the trick that's used in my part, the back lip, it was few tries before I got hurt. But my filmer told me that I could do it better. So basically, he sent me back up. It's not his fault, of course, because
here we go.
Yeah,
it's not his fault. But like he's the guy, like the Jaakko guy. He's always like, you know, that rail's too small. Like he was the one who was like making the calls basically that season.
Yeah.
And it's like definitely wasn't his fault because I knew myself that I could have done it better too. Like it's pretty shaky in the landing, but it also, the way we talked about it, I feel like it actually looks pretty cool that I have that struggle and that like I'm fighting for it, you know, to like stay up. in the landing. So, but I went up again and tried it, and then I tweaked my knee and tore the ACL. But because that was the first time I got hurt, so I didn't know I was hurt. Like I was just laying there for like a little bit, and then I was like, yeah, I can walk. So I walked back up and then just drove back home. Took some like painkillers and put some like ice power like gel on my knee, and then I was like, yeah, it's just gonna get better. So a week after, I went to X Games and I was riding the slope style, but I wasn't able to like turn on my heel edge because it would always like hurt too much on my knees. So like all the tricks that I did, I would like spin off my toes, and then like after the after the first training, like it was pretty painful. So I went to the physio at X Games and he's like testing out my knee and stuff, and he's like, no, I'm like 99% sure there's nothing wrong with your knee. I'm like, okay, perfect. And then I went back, but I was still, I couldn't turn my heel edge, but I was still riding the contest, just like doing stuff from the toes. And then I flew back home after the contest. I think that contest ended up being pretty shitty. I think I got 9th place, so I didn't make the finals that season. And then I flew back home, and then we were filming for Picture This. And I still kept going for another week filming with Jeremy Jones flew over to Helsinki and some other guys. I filmed that trip with them, and then I went to Japan for the Toyota Big Air. And the same shit, like I couldn't turn my heels, but I was still like riding the contest and like trying to get shit done. But at that point, it was like just way too painful. So finally I fly back home after Japan and go to a doctor, and he's like, test out my knee, and he's like, yeah, fuck, you have no ACL. I'm like, okay, that explains a lot, But then at the same time, he told me, he's like, if you can ride with this knee, like you can just ride till the end of the season and then come back and have the surgery. So that's what I did. So I finished off the season and filmed the rest of the part. So basically, I feel like for that part, because I got hurt, I think it was January something, So I ended up riding like 4 months without ACL. And I didn't have like a big brace at that time. It was just like this little like sleeves that I was using on my knee. So it was a pretty bad season. I was basically just eating painkillers every day that I was riding. But I still got it through, and I got like a full part for the video, and then I went straight into surgery.
That's insane. It hurts so bad to go on your heel side edge when you have no ACL.
Yeah. But which was actually like, I think when I was telling this story, like which was really inspirational to me, actually talking about this Mack Dawg trip to Helsinki. We were hitting this, it's called a Malmi ledge. It's like this big ledge that I got back clip to it. Mm-hmm. There's like a bus next to it, and then like a concrete ledge. And then we were there, and then Jeremy Jones flies to Finland, takes a cab from the airport straight to that ledge, and like puts on his gear and fucking hits the ledge like a switch slip, gap to switch slip. And like with my technique, like it was hard to get speed for the back clip, even I was riding like regular or like goofy, but like, not going switch. And he fucking does it. Like I thought that was like really inspirational and like a boss move, like straight from like the long flight over the Atlantic and taking the taxi and getting to a spot and getting the clip. I'm like, okay, this is how the professional do it,
That's sick.
Yeah.
Boss.
Legendary. Still wild. Picture this being on a wooden rail. Still wild. Picture this being filmed on a blown knee. But one thing I just want to be very clear about the wooden rails. Like if they're not frozen or they're still not safe, even with an edgeless board. Like I think people might hear this and be like, yeah, it was edgeless. So like but like you can still fucking catch on a wooden rail.
Yeah, you can catch for sure. It's still a little bit sketchy, but like.
Yeah. Did you ever catch heel edge catch on a wooden rail? Apparently not. You're so confident about it.
Yeah, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
It's you and Chris Demolsky.
Yeah, just us two. Yeah. And Robbie Sell maybe too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Goats of the lumber.
Goats of the lumber.
Goats of the lumber. So keeping it moving, we talked cooking with gas. Where did you go from there?
So after cooking with gas, that's when we decided to make Ender. And I think the spark for that was like, because we did the Oakley movie, Oakley Snowboarding for Me. And then one of the Pablo Films guys, Jukka, was editing the film. And when I saw the film, I'm like, holy shit, like this is a cool story. The way it was edited and with the way the story was told, I'm like, is there a chance you guys want to make my movie? Like, should we just make a movie about my career or something? And they were totally down. And then we just started thinking about the concept and like fucking, I've been filming video parts for so long, so maybe just like, should we just film one more and be done in a way? Because every time you film a video part, like for sure you want to one-up yourself. And I kept telling myself, like, when at a young age, you know, when I came out with that follow me around part, I thought that was like when I peaked. I'm gonna have like few more seasons left, and then it's gonna be done. And I kept telling me when I was young, it's like, you can snowboard professionally till you're 30. Like, then you're gonna be done for sure. So I started believing it too. And then when we were filming Ender, I think I was 31. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be end of it, because I didn't want to be the guy that people looked at as like, fuck, Eero is still here milking it. Like, why is that guy still doing this? You know, like, give something for the younger generation. You know, so I'm like, okay, like, I don't want to be that guy. So I'd rather do this video and just like say peace out. But once that movie came out, like, I was ready to be done, like snowboarding professionally. Like, I felt like I had given my all in a way. But then, like, I had a talk with my sponsor. Everybody was saying, like, they loved the movie, and if I wanted to snowboard, like, just pressure free, just do your thing, and we'll support you. And I think, like, Nitro was pretty much like the first company that was saying that. I'm like, yeah, fuck, I still love snowboarding. Like, of course I want to snowboard, but I don't want to put myself in that pressure situation anymore to like trying to like one up myself year after year after year, you know, because I had been doing that for 13 years. So I think that was the time after Ender was released when I actually like found the spark for snowboarding again, because like I was doing it for myself and not for anyone else. And I think that was the changing point. And I feel like ever since, like, I've been enjoying snowboarding even more, like, and not taking it for granted. I'm just like enjoying it every minute of it and just being more stoked, because I feel like I'm so lucky that I get to do this still.
So from there, it looks like you did basically a bunch of like short kind of projects that were like conceptualized things that were not a full season. Like you had snow castles and the ice track rally one and one line. It seems like those were awesome, right? What was the logic behind doing those?
Yeah, you know, I was just like trying to please the sponsors in a way, you know, like, I mean, Red Bull, like maybe not any other sponsor, but Red Bull, you know, because Red Bull is always like, it's in our contract too that we have to like pitch them projects. If you want to be a Red Bull athlete, you have to have some like Red Bull projects, you know, so I was trying to like pitch something that I knew could be appealing to also people from outside of snowboarding, you know, like if you look at the snow castle, for example, like my mom could be like, yeah, that's a cool location, you know, like I'll watch this clip because the location is so cool. So it wasn't really like about the action anymore. Plus it's pretty limited, like what can you do at a castle, you know, it's like, so for riding wise, it was pretty simple to do those projects, but it's also, I wouldn't say it's boring, but it's when it's so scripted, like you know exactly, like we have 5 days of time, like each day I'm going to hit 2 spots and like I'm going to hit this spot and do these tricks, you know, so it's so scripted. So like there's no like creativity at that point anymore. So it gets kind of boring in a way. Like, you know what I mean? Like with the video part, it's like a never ending process. Like when you get a trick and then you're like, okay, I'll move on. Like what should I do next? So I think it's so much more fun to film a video part in the end.
Yeah, it's not as like some of those are like really produced. There's a lot of, you know, suits and a script and all that. It makes a lot of sense too with some of those. I'm curious. I'm gonna derail this conversation and hit some hard hitting topics here. But I was talking to Heike. He kind of sparked this question I had. But do you think you're one of the most talented snowboarders?
Me?
Yeah,
definitely not. No, it's just like growing up in Finland and seeing all these other guys and being able to ride with the guys from Mack Dawg Productions and like John Jackson from Standard Films, just like seeing all these riders around me just were so much better. You know, so I always felt like I was the underdog and I had to work so much more to be on the same level. So for sure, wasn't as good as the other guys.
Of course, the most talented snowboarder in the world, probably Heike, asked that question.
Yeah.
Hey, do you think you're as talented?
No, but like
it's the best, dude.
Yeah, but you know, just seeing Heike ride, for example, like everything for him was like always. I felt like looked super easy and so natural, and then for me, it wasn't that way. But I was like willing to like work for it harder than him for sure, and I think that made me go a little bit further, or at least like continue my career longer.
Yeah, you kind of notice that in Cooking with Gas when you guys are sessioning, you're like, I haven't hit a down bar in like 5 years, and you do a switch front blunt 450, and Heike launches a back two on the thing. And to me, I feel like Heike probably hasn't done a back two in a while. He's like, oh, just back two this freaking down bar, no problem.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I've never seen a Heike do a back two. He just goes for it. Like, Heike's pretty crazy that way. Like, one of the seasons, I think this was like when we were filming for Ender. Like, it was his first day riding that season with new boots. He comes to the spot and does a front 270 on it. You know, that's in his part in Ender. And you're like, who the fuck is this guy? You know, I would never do that. But yeah, those were fun seasons, hanging out with him and seeing like what the level is, you know. So that definitely like made me ride a lot better too, because I felt like I always had to prove myself amongst the guys that I was riding with.
Yeah, I don't think you would be here at the same level without Heike. Like, I think you guys just fueled each other throughout your whole career.
Yeah, we did definitely. I think, you know, we had different kind of strengths, you know, because I was always kind of like the flip guy and the rodeo guy, and Heikki was like flat spins, but like the technique was like so proper, and it was cool. And he was like, still is like a big brother to me, you know, like hanging out with him, just he helped a lot.
Good times. I was thinking about this, you know, there's a lot of old head listeners and people snowboarding with kids. And I'm actually soon to be a dad, so I'm wondering myself. But it seems like when you have kids, your whole dynamic changes, and how to continue to still live your passions while being a dad. I feel like you might have some good insight into that.
Yeah, it's like life gets so much more scheduled and structured. And I was always bad at that, you know, like I never had like a, you know, but now it's so different, you know, because the good thing is like I have some snowboarding homies that also have kids, you know. So I always like, on Sundays we might just like text each other like, how's your week looking? You know, like which day should we go snowboard? You know, like, and then we like, okay, Tuesday and Thursday could be good. Okay, I'm gonna ask the wife if we can get permission to go riding, you know. You know, but it's challenging because like my wife's working, like she's working and I'm working, you know, so it's always like a high five, you know, like you go work, I'm gonna be with the kids, and then I go work, you're gonna be with the kids, you know. So it's more challenging, and I get definitely way less riding in, you know, but the days that I go riding, like I'm enjoying it so much, which is still awesome. And then I think that's almost a thing, you know, like, because I used to take snowboarding, like, you know, for granted, you know, like, because I could go ride every day. And then, you know, like now when you can't, you know, like once you go riding, you're like, fucking, this is the best thing in the world. And also it takes you to this like place and mindset that you kind of like get to be that kid again, and you don't have to think about anything else. Because life gets pretty stressful when you have kids and all these other like things in life that you have to like deal with.
Oh yeah, 100%. I can concur. 3 kids, it's crazy. And you also need to have like an amazing partner to make this happen as well.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't do it alone, 100%.
Yeah.
But I'm always inspired with you because I have kids, and then I see you, but you still send it, man. It's crazy. You don't think about getting hurt or anything. I remember the helmet situation. You asked me like, are you wearing a helmet now? And it's like, oh yeah, I'm wearing a helmet now. I got kids. This is crazy. And then you start wearing a helmet. Do you still wear a helmet?
Yeah, like I mean, there's some resorts that require wearing a helmet, you know, but it's like, it's one of those things because like, I've been riding without a helmet for so long, so just putting one on just like, I don't know, sets me off in a way. Just like I lose the flow, which just sounds so fucking ridiculous. Like anyone listening that has kids or wears a helmet, you're like, fuck, why don't you just put a helmet on? But it's one of those things, like I built my whole career riding without a helmet. It just feels so weird having one on now. But I'm definitely like trying it more and more because like one day for sure it would be nice to just like full on ride with the helmet every day, and then set a good example for my kids as well. Because like when I show footage to my kids of me snowboarding, I always pick the clips where I have the helmet on because I want to set that example.
Mm-hmm. I love the thing where you on Instagram, I don't know when you were doing it, I think earlier this winter, where you're pushing the baby carriage around. And then you freaking like push the baby carriage to the spot, and then you show the clip. That's just A-grade quality content.
Oh, thank you. It was pretty funny because like I mean I was just bored one day. Like I went on a walk with the baby, and I'm like fucking yeah, and like my normal route that I always walk, it actually has like 10 spots like on that walk, and it's just like a 1 hour walk. You know, there's so many fucking spots around that area. So I'm like, I'm just gonna post some pictures of these spots and then like show the clip that I did. And the feedback that I got was like, you know, like so amazing. Like no one ever liked my stuff that much. I'm like, maybe I'm gonna make this like a feed post. And then it kind of became this like series that I've been doing. Like I did maybe like 4 of those. And then I'm almost waiting till like I drop this milestone part, so I can actually go like revisit some spots that I hit for that part.
Drive 3 hours to the sledge, push the baby carriage, take it out. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. No, maybe just the ones that are like close to home.
Put the kid in the back.
Yeah, for sure.
Shut up. Where are we going, Dad? Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, good stuff. One thing I'm really curious about here, we talked about the TV show stuff. I know it's some type of Finnish driving show. Like I don't really know anything about this like Finnish TV Fame that you have. Like how often are you going to the studio? What are you doing? What is the show? Can you explain what the hell's going on with this whole situation?
Yeah, it's super fucking random. I once, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I got a call from this like TV channel in Finland. It's called NTVP. You know, it does nothing to do with like music television, you know, but it's like one of the biggest channels in Finland. And they called me saying that they're gonna have this new show that they're looking for like a new face, like a new host for. I'm like, where the hell did you get my number? Like, why do you want me to host something? But anyway, so I thought this was like a candid camera type of thing, you know, like so because they asked me to go to the studio and talk to the director of the show. So I just go there. I think he's just gonna tell me more about the concept and stuff. And he's there, like this kind of a gnarly dude, and he hands me this paper of a script, and he's there with the camera. He's like, okay, read the script. I'm like, what the fuck? You just like, I didn't even know that I was coming here to like audition for this shit, you know? So I kind of freaked out. I had like a dentist appointment like on, so I just left. I'm like, fucking, this is not my thing.
You didn't even read or anything?
I read a little bit, but I was so nervous, so it just sounded like shit probably. So I went to a dentist, and then the guy calls me. He's like, you know, like, I think we got like a really bad start for this, but like maybe you should come back again and try again. Like I feel like there could be potential. So I went back in and then did the audition, and then I got the job. And the first show that I did was called like Take the Money and Run. So it was like this like reality game show. So as a host, I give these competitors like a briefcase that's like full of money. There's like 10K in the briefcase, and they have to hide it somewhere. And then they end up in jail, and there's going to be private investigators trying to find the briefcase. But if they don't find it, you get to keep the money. So basically that was the show. And when the show came out, and then the channel was pretty hyped, they're like, okay, we got this other show that if you want to host this one too. And this was the driving show. It's called The Finland's Worst Driver. So this show is about like finding the driver that's the worst in Finland, which is like a ridiculous show. So they have these old like driving tests. It's 10 episodes. So from each episode, like the best driver of the episode gets away from the show. So who's left the last is like the worst driver of Finland. So it's... Yeah, the show is ridiculous, you know, but it's been pretty fun. But always when I'm on the set, I'm like fucking like, you know, it makes me appreciate snowboarding even more. It's kind of like, it is fun, but it feels like a job. Mm-hmm. Like snowboarding doesn't feel like a job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, it's sick to have that opportunity to do that.
Yeah, it also like in Finland, you know, like once you have that like, when you have your face on TV, like suddenly there's going to be this kid who's like, Eero is the best snowboarder in Finland. I'm like, I'm not. You know, there's like Renee and these guys, but they think since I'm on TV and they recognize my face, suddenly they think like I'm the best snowboarder. You know, which is funny.
I have some questions about this show, this driving show, because I've never seen it. So do you win money if you're the worst?
No, no, not at all. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Okay, because I was gonna say you could just drive bad.
Yeah. No, like they come on the show, like they don't even get paid to be on the show. Like they basically sacrifice their summer vacation to be on the show and drive horribly. It makes no sense to me.
Is it quality entertainment though?
Yeah, like I think some people like I've done 5 seasons of it, you know. So like it's 9 seasons down because there was another host before me. And I've done 5 seasons now, so there's 9 total. So I'm hoping there's going to be a season number 10. It would be nice.
And you also called some of the national contests for Finland, some snowboarding contest.
Yeah. For it's this it's like paid per view type of thing. It's like called Viaplay. So like me and Heikki are actually like commentating together, which is really fun. I mean, it feels ridiculous that we're getting paid to watch snowboarding and talk about it. You know, just 2 homies on a couch basically. So it's really sick.
Which
It's a good job.
contest? Is it like World Cups?
Yeah, FIS World Cups.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, probably the sickest commentators for any FIS event,
Yep.
other than Young Dolly's live streams.
Yeah, Valley. Yep. So, do you think when they do 18s, you think you're nailing it? How are you at calling the big spins?
Oh yeah, they're actually pretty easy. I think one of my homies told me like a really good like thing to think about is like no one's gonna spin less than a 1080. You know, just start from there basically.
Yep.
So you don't really have to count. But it gets easier too, like because then you can like start counting like the rotations and the flips and the corks and stuff. So it gets pretty easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've called a bunch of the locks open in some of the contests where they're spinning a lot and do tours and stuff, and I feel like for men it starts at 12, where you're like, okay, if it looked like a 900, it's a 12.
Yeah, exactly.
And then if it looks like a fast 1080, what's a 14? Okay, it looked really fast. They land fakey. It's a 16. Mm-hmm. It looks really fucking fast. It looks fucked up. That was an 18. They landed regular. It's like it's not that hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and it's so easy to tell too. Like for sure, you have to follow snowboarding quite a bit to be able to do that. But once a guy is already in the takeoff, like you know what he's going to be doing basically. Like if you watch the World Cups quite a bit and the same guys are there, they always kind of do the same tricks. So it's kind of easy to call their runs already, like knowing what they're going to be doing.
Who are your favorite fist riders?
Oh,
great question, Kenny.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Favorite fist riders.
I love how they're classified as fist riders. They're legitimate snowboarders. They're really
I mean, there's a bunch. I mean, like for sure, like Rene when he's riding, or like Marcus Cleveland, of course. Always the guys that like are more random. You just don't know what you're gonna be getting. Like it's like fucking Danny Davis in the pipe. Like you never know. Like he's always gonna switch up his runs. Those are fun to watch.
How sick is Rene? He's Finnish. You gotta be like that's my guy, right?
Yeah.
When you watch Rene, he's insane.
Rene is sick. Yeah, he's the sickest for sure. Like, and that energy he has, like, and how he's able to translate that energy into his snowboarding, it's like unreal. Like, there's like, I mean, to me, like Rene is not a typical like Finnish person, like just like how outgoing he is and like he's insane.
He doesn't talk like a robot.
No, doesn't talk like a robot. Has style, has swag.
Yeah.
He's not very Finnish.
Yeah.
Hi, my name Eero Ettala.
Yeah.
What up? I'm Rene, dude.
Yeah.
It's cool. He got away. He was one that got away from me. Dominic Wagner sent me videos of him before he got big.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's riding. He
dropped the ball on that.
But it was just like picnic table footage, and he had like a helmet on. And I was like, there's got to be better people than this 2 years later. Fuck.
Not a keen eye for talent.
No, not at all.
Not a keen eye for talent.
Yeah, I think like Rene, he's coming out with the movie too. Like when we're gonna have the Helsinki premiere, it's gonna be on the 18th of October, and Rene's premiere is on the 19th. So I'm stoked that I get to premiere my movie before he's, because Oakley was telling me, he's like, yeah, maybe both of you guys are making movies. Should we have like a double premiere at the Oakley headquarters? I'm like, no. I don't think people want to watch my movie when they see Rene's stuff.
He's on a 2-year.
Yeah, actually 3-year project.
Because he got hurt in the middle.
Yeah, he got hurt one season.
He broke his leg. It locks open. Yeah, it's gonna be sick.
So Rene got Rider of the Year.
Maybe.
Yeah, it could be. I think he spent a lot of time in like Riksgränsen. He went to Japan and he has some street footage. So it's more like, I think more backcountry this time.
Don't sell yourself short. This milestone part.
Milestone. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I was watching it, I was like, "Fuck, this could be Rider of the Year. This is really good."
Oh, I don't.
It's sick.
But thank you. I really appreciate it. Like, I'm stoked on the footage. Like I worked hard for it, and yeah, like like as you can see, like I put a lot of effort in the part. Like and I'm proud of it now for sure. And I'm stoked to like release it and let people see it and get the feedback. Would be nice.
And it all comes full circle. Rene took you out of retirement by pitching this idea to you.
Yeah, it was insane. Fuck, why? Why does he want me to film another part? It just made no sense to me.
Yeah, and then also I wanted to go back to that when we were talking about Rene giving you the idea.
Yeah.
4 naked dudes in a sauna. They're talking
exactly.
about you. What if Eero made his 40-year video part, dude?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, for sure. That's funny.
So at the end of the movie, the crescendo, I don't know if it's the movie or the doc, the milestone doc, you said, I found my happy place. I found my peace in snowboarding. Love to hear you elaborate on that.
Yeah, I just think, like for the longest time, like you end up doing tricks that you feel like people want to see you doing, like so finding like just my own way of snowboarding and just believing in it, in a way. And I feel like I don't have anything to prove to anyone else than myself nowadays. And then when I go riding, I'm like, fucking, this is my happy place. Like now fucking, I'm enjoying this more than ever. You know, like then you feel peaceful because I feel like I found the peace after making Ender, but now making this again, I'm like fucking like this is like this part actually represents me as a snowboarder now. Like I think it's a different type of part. I think when people see this part, like it's some kind of footage that people would not expect to see from me, you know, and this is kind of the snowboarder that's always been in me, but like I haven't been able to put it out in a way. Because I have some spots in this video, like I think also the print that I'm going to be signing, that kind of the 50-50 wall ride thingy. I found that spot when I was filming for Picture This back in 07, you know. So now when I was filming for this part, I was like, oh yeah, there's that one trick that I was thinking about back in 07. Like maybe I should film that for this part now. And which I think that tells the story of like kind of like being more comfortable, just like believing in my like own snowboarding and just like not really like giving a fuck what other people think. And I think that's also like how some of the tricks are a little bit different and like more fun for me and more playful as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that part's awesome. We'll have that signed print on bombhole.com if you guys are interested. I'm sure it'll be selling out super quick. But I wanted to go back to just filming a part, thinking about it as you're talking. I feel as though when you have a part like you've been working on, it helps with a sense of purpose in the world. Like you start to build, you get a few tricks. What if I get this next trick? What if I get this trick? It's like a reason to get out of bed, a reason to be motivated, a reason to take care of your body, a reason to try to be the best on your snowboard. Like just having that, like I like how you viewed it as like, this is going to be a challenge for me, but it's also a sense of purpose.
Yeah, it is for sure. And like actually going into this next season, I'm like, fucking, I have a project. Like I'm not in a rush to get on the hill now. Like I don't need to like get that board control back. You know, when I was working this project, I'm like, as soon as this hill opens, I'm going to go there. I'm going to like get back on my board and like try to get these tricks back. And now it's like, I don't know, where's my purpose now? But I think I'm going to get back to like filming a bit more for the gram and just like be more on the social media. Because it's hard these days, like sitting on all this footage. And I was like, throughout this project, I was like fucking like 3 years of footage and I'm sitting on this footage and then I'm going to release it everything at once. Like this doesn't make any fucking sense because you could have just like posted each clip at a time and get like 100,000 views or 600,000 views for a clip. And then when you put this out, it's maybe like 20,000 people watch it. It's like,
but those 20,000 people care.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And also like I care, you know, the thing is like when I put this out, like I'm going to care more about this.
Yeah.
So in the end, I'm doing like, for sure, I want people to see it and hopefully people are going to be stoked about it. But I'm doing this for myself, which was like the healthiest motivation to do this.
It's the purest. It's the purest Eero part.
Yeah.
And also the fact that you don't snowboard 7 days a week, it also makes those tricks way more gnarly when you're just a pro snowboarder. You're like, what do I got to do? Fucking snowboard next 8 months. That's it.
Yeah, it changes for sure. And I think like I had to do more like mental prepping for going into this and going into spots because I didn't have like that much riding under my belt going into the spots, but everything worked out. And I'm pretty good at like picking the spots for my own skill level and then being like confident when I'm at the spot most of the time.
Did you get kicked out any spots? Any kickouts?
No, actually no.
Oh, it's because you're famous.
That helps a little bit sometimes, you know, and always talking about we're making a snowboard documentary for a big channel or something, you know, just fake it till you make it.
All right, let's get into hot takes here, Eero. Staple of the show. First question we like to ask, who is your greatest of all time, your favorite snowboarder, so to speak, maybe most impactful, both male and female?
It would have to be Heikki Sorsa for sure. To me, and just the way that I've seen him ride, I didn't see Terje in his prime, you know, so I could picture like Heikki being like that good in his prime, you know, just, it was unreal. Like I remember one time we were filming for From With Love and we were hitting the step down and we were done filming and Heikki has his backpack on. He's like, yeah, I'm just going to hit the step down from the side, like as a cliff and do a front three. I'm like, and he does it like perfect. I'm like, why wasn't anyone filming this? This was the sickest shit ever. You know, like he was that good. So he could just do that kind of stuff. So Heikki for sure is the GOAT to me.
And then female?
Female, Tara Dakides, yeah. Yeah, she's inspirational. You know, just like seeing all those old Mack Dawg videos and then having Tara in there in the mix, like riding the same spots was just like unreal.
Okay, would you view snowboarding as an art form, a sport, or a lifestyle?
Ooh, Ooh, I think it's all of those, but to me, it's a lifestyle and an art form. For me, it was never a sport. Even I was like a competitive snowboarder, but I never considered it as a sport. But of course, there's riders that treat it as a sport. But for me, it's art and lifestyle.
Who's one of the most underrated snowboarders in your opinion?
I wanted to say Knut, but I don't know. But now I came up with that Ozzy Henning, maybe.
Yeah. Wow.
Come on.
Yeah. Knut's pretty underrated too. Like when you see Knut shred, he's insane. But like Ozzy's in a different level. Like Ozzy Henning.
Yeah.
Like he was like when I saw him ride, he was like scary good. You know, you're like fucking. He's gonna take my spot. You know, like in a way.
That's
like,
a good
one. Fucking, like this guy's good.
Not like Knut. He's on a different level.
He's gonna take my. He's not gonna take my spot.
I'm not taking anyone's spot. But Ozzy, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody knows how good of a snowboarder you are, though, Knut.
Me?
Yeah.
I appreciate that, guys.
Or maybe I don't know if it's R or were. I'm not sure where we're
it's
at.
more of a were.
Is it a were?
Were is?
Yeah, okay.
Were is?
Because there's also two different things. There's a thing of like being a good snowboarder or being good at doing tricks, you know. And Knut's really fucking good at snowboarding.
Mm.
You can see some guys like just the way they turn or like read the terrain and stuff. Like Elias Ellerhart, for example. Like Elias is fucking good at snowboarding.
It's kind of a backhand slap. You can be good at tricks or just be good at snowboarding.
No, but
I'm just messing.
Yeah.
Take it.
Okay, steel or powder?
I enjoy the steel, but for sure, like as an old dog, if I get like a good powder day with homies in Japan, like I would pick the powder days. But like for filming, I would pick street any day.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of a steel or powder. It's there's two. You pick one of the other options.
Okay, yeah.
Kind of. That was a media trained answer to get your way out of it.
Depends on the powder, man. It's like if you get to go to Japan for like good powder day with homies, like doesn't get better than that.
The amount of disappointed Finnish snowboarders that are just pounding out in the streets right now are. I'm just gonna say you might have let a few people down there, Eero.
I'm sorry.
Favorite style ever?
Oh, favorite style ever. This is.
I still wish you said steel. I can't get over that. But anyway, continue.
Should have said wood.
Option 3, wood.
I wasn't prepared for this, like favorite style ever, because there's so many people with great style. And it's like, it also always changes. Like when I was a kid, like my favorite style was Gigi Ruff. He had the best style. But nowadays, who has an insane style? I like Sam Taxwood. He has a really good style, for sure.
Gigi Ruff, Sam Taxwood?
It's pretty legit.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Wearing his t-shirt right now.
You are.
Okay, next question. What is your favorite snowboard video ever made?
It would have to be Simple Pleasures. That was timeless.
Who's got your favorite method?
Nicholas Mueller.
What's your favorite board graphic ever?
It would be like an old Atlantis board that Daniel Frank was riding at Stomping Grounds. The one with the logo on the base, just like that. The house or whatever it is.
In the blue.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say the baby blue kind of.
I think
yeah.
God, that one doesn't get brought up enough. That's a good. I like that answer. Okay, this is an interesting one we have on here. Pants over the high back or under the high back?
I'm saying under. It just looks nicer. But I used to be in the crew, like going over.
I know
like everybody was. Yeah.
Yep.
Everybody was.
Everybody, it wasn't just me. Everybody was.
All right, if you go heliboarding 3 people, just good times. Maybe there's a wooden down bar in the middle of the run to really optimize the experience. Who's going in the heli with you?
So is it me plus 3?
You have a plus 3.
Plus 3. I think I would take Heikki, Lauri Heiskari, and Iikka Backstrom.
Some
like
banter.
OG crew, yeah.
Eero Ettala. Oh, Vito.
Yeah.
Robot voice.
That's sick.
C-3PO talking. Somebody brought what was it? Somebody brought Charlie Sheen recently in their helicopter.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Who the fuck was that?
I can't remember. Somebody brought Charlie Sheen, and then somebody
Kevin
else.
Baxter?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
He's
And then somebody brought Young Dolly brought Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
So
Charlie
Young
Sheen's
Dolly
kind of a
would be pretty
new
fun
one.
too.
yeah.
Charlie Sheen is legendary.
Charlie Sheen was a total curveball,
Yeah.
but that's my favorite so far. Not that yours were great as well. Okay, if you could pick one sponsor, dream sponsor, anything in the world, doesn't have to be snowboard related.
Maybe like a company that does like babysitting, so I can get more days on the hill.
That's pretty good, dude.
A babysitting sponsor. That's
yeah.
actually
That would be sick.
the best answer we've had yet. Yeah. Knut, can you relate to that?
Yeah, I should have said that. Episode. Babysitter sponsor is legendary.
Yep. Maybe we get a GoFundMe going or something. Okay, last question. Actually, no, we got another one. First try, go to backcountry step down trick. Gotta
Step down
land.
trick. Oh, switch back 180.
Switch back one.
Yeah.
Okay. Like that. It's a slow tip forward for me to violent tomahawk. Okay, last question. Worst trend.
I think it's just hating on people online. I think that's stupid. But I think snowboarders are getting like a little bit away from that too. Like now, I feel like everybody's accepted, So, but hating on people, I think that's ridiculous. Like if you don't have anything like positive to say, just don't say anything.
Wise words.
Concur.
We actually got a Patreon question about trends too. Maybe
Okay.
hit this real quick. Being in the industry. Oh, this question's from Andrew Cruz. Thank you, Andrew. Being in the industry for as long as you have, you've seen a lot of fashion trends in snowboarding come and go. What are some of your favorite and least favorite fashion trends?
I think least favorite for me was like the skinny pants. Like I was not really a fan of that. Or like, the Bakota, the high backpack things. Like that's kind of like, what is this for? Like, what do you need this for? But even still, like thinking back, it was pretty sick when like Mikey LeBlanc and these guys were rocking it. Like I liked it. But now looking back, you're like, what the fuck was this? But the good trends, what could it be? And also I think like bad trends, like going into like this what's the reverse camber stuff? Like, cause I'm like a big fan of riding just like a regular camber board, like just going. I think that works for everything, So I think that was a bad trend. But the best trends, I think just getting people more into snowboarding when there's like different kind of shapes of boards and like that attracts more people now. I think that's pretty rad that you actually like created this need for people like to have different kind of boards to get another reason to go riding. I think that's pretty cool. So now it's okay because I used to have a board that I would ride for like use for everything, like from streets to park to backcountry, and now it's like accepted having like 3 different kind of boards for that kind of shit. Mm-hmm. So I think that's cool.
It's fun riding a floater.
Yeah, it is.
Deep POW.
Yeah, for sure. It was a game changer because I used to ride like my freestyle board in the POW, and then one day when I had like a POW board, I'm like, what the fuck have I been doing this all these years? It makes no sense,
That's why you were Tommying.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's talk about your board because it's pretty fun watching this new project. I thought I was looking at whenever you filmed Follow Me Around or whatever the hell year you're riding the In-N-Out Burger, but is it a reissue? What's going on with that thing?
Yeah, so Nitro made that board again, like limited, like reissue for that. After I had been on the team for 20 years, so it's a big thing for me. And also, like I wanted to use it as much as I could for the part as well, because it has this like nostalgic feel to me as well riding it. But it was pretty funny because that's like my first pro model board or the graphic that I got. And it was funny because like then Nitro, like the guys asked me like, so we're gonna give you a pro model. Like, what do you want on the graphic? I'm like, they asked me, well, what do I like? I'm like, I like burgers. Let's put a burger on the board. It's like now looking back to it's pretty ridiculous, But I think it's funny because it's so ridiculous. It makes no sense to have a burger on the board. Originally, it was supposed to be like 3 different sizes. One was supposed to be a pizza. One was supposed to be a taco, and then like a burger. But then it became to be like the full meal with like a soda and a fries and a burger. But it's nice. It's nice. I think that's still one of the boards that, to me, is like the most talked about when people like remember some of the pro models. It's either this one or the second one I had, which is like this cut up crocodile board. Yeah.
I remember Dave Doman did those graphics. I was living with him at the time when he did the burger board.
Yeah,
legendary. Sick. Yeah, iconic. It was cool to see that because I actually is the graphic exactly the same?
Exactly the same. Just a new board.
I thought you were straight up just like took it out of the archives. Like, oh, you had a couple of these lying around from 10 years ago or whatever, 20 years ago.
Oh, that would have been sick. Well, what do you think? Have the boards changed that much in 10 years?
This is like the same board, same shape and everything that he wrote back then. It just has updated core and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a little more flexible.
What is that for people interested? What are we talking about? What's the setup?
So this is the Nitro Beast board, but the graphic is just the old burger one. But yeah, that's the one that I've been rocking for the last 7 years, maybe.
It's the stiffest board in the Nitro lineup.
Yeah,
it's a beast of a board.
That's why you don't see me doing that many presses these days. And if I do, it's like a little
OG camber. OG camber.
Yeah, OG camber. Yeah.
And anything else about it? Twin tip, centered, all that stuff. It's all twin centered, no fancy edges. OG, just the OG snowboard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just the OG snowboard. I like it pretty simple. And I always told Nitros, like, just don't change the boards too much. Like, when I get comfortable with the board, I'm like, okay, I want to ride the same fucking board year after year after year after year. So they pretty much kept it the same.
You've been riding pretty much the same setup for the last 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
Same boots, same bindings, same board. Pretty much the same. Doesn't want to change it. Little changes, but you just like what you like.
What bindings?
It's a Nitro Phantom. Also, that binding I've been riding for the past 15 years, maybe.
Yep.
They just changed the high back, but it's nice. I like it.
Stance, angles?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I have no idea. So many people ask me about stance. It's like I never measured my stance, so I just set it up and I step on the bindings and look at it. I'm like, okay, this feels right.
So every time you set up a new board, it's different.
It could be a little bit different, yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah. But actually, like when you watch the footage in Milestone, that first backflip on that wooden rail, like when I look at the footage, like that's not my stance. Like it's wider. It's wider than that one.
Got a roulette.
Yeah.
Roll the dice. Could be 24. Could be 23 inches. Who knows? Yeah. It's an interesting thing about board technology. Talking about it, like I think a lot of consumers, I don't know, maybe this is bad for Nitro, Knut, and I shouldn't say this, but it's like people get so nerded out on like the intricacies of the snowboard and like how it's going to perform in this. And I understand you want to have your right snowboard, but like when it comes to like doing tricks, I remember I was watching Red Gerard at Peace Park. He broke his board launching a front 10 double, maybe even a 12 because he landed regular on this side hit at Peace Park. And like in the middle of the contest, and he gets up to the top. He doesn't have another board. I can't remember whose snowboard he grabbed, but it was like a 5-year-old Burton. And he switched his bindings, put it on, dropped in, did his full run, whatever, back rodeo, switchback rodeo, front 10 double, never strapped in on the thing, didn't even know how it turned. And the point being is that like, I think, a snowboard is a snowboard, they all work pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would feel the difference because I've been riding the same setup for so long. Because once I got the bindings, and you know how you can is it called a heel cup?
Yep.
That you can kind of like push it in or like take it out a little bit. And it was like, I think just, I don't know, like it's either 1 or 2 or 0. Mm-hmm. So it was just like one click out, and I was like, "Fuck, I can't turn on my heels now. Like, what's going on?"
I remember you like called me and you were like, "Did you guys change something on the Phantom binding?"
Yeah.
Oh, it's been the same for so long. Yeah. And
then I figured out, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna push in the heel cup. Then it was like back to normal again. So like I can feel the change now. But like when I was younger, I would ride anything.
Anything. I mean, in the board technology, it's basically the flex and the side cut. That's what makes the difference.
Yeah.
Unless you're particular, like you, the smallest little change, you're like, "Whoa, dude, you're ruining my career."
Yeah.
Okay, a couple other questions before we get this thing going. You've had such a long career. You've done so much in snowboarding. There's a lot of people trying to navigate how to make it through this career as a pro snowboarder, attempting to. What do you think the key ingredients were to your success, or what advice do you have for somebody that's trying to follow in your footsteps?
I think always just being so fucking hyped on snowboarding, just loving it so much, and being all about it, and I think for me that was like a changing point when I realized that I was good enough to take my own snowboarding to like my own direction instead of just like following everybody else. Because if you follow other people, you're always like one step behind, So taking that step, being like, okay, like I'm gonna go this way, and it might be a little bit scarier because like I haven't seen anyone else do this shit, you know. But like once you do it, like it's more rewarding for sure. So just like, I don't know, like just finding your own path and like following it and like just believing in yourself. I think that's the key to success. But also of course having like the right support and people that support your own path. You know, because I feel like with Nitro, for example, they always believed in me and then also like supported my journey like in the perfect possible way. They kind of like maybe they saw like in which direction I wanted to go to, and they always like supported me that way.
One last thing we almost forgot to do here, Kenneth.
Yep.
Ken. Knut.
Knut.
Knut. We're doing a giveaway here.
Yeah.
Nitro.
Doing a giveaway just as a thank you to all the viewers of the Bomb Hole, and then also thank you to Eero. Basically in the comments below the video, just write why you love snowboarding. And we got 2 boards, one for a guy, one for a girl. The Beast for the guy, Karma for the girls.
Yeah, our favorite comment we'll pick. We'll send you a Nitro board.
Yep.
That's great. Thanks, Knut.
Thank you, Bomb Hole community.
They're going to be psyched to potentially get a board. That'll be great. Yeah. If they've made it this far.
They've made it this far. It's Eero fucking Ettala.
That's true. That is true. Well, Eero, you've had a very, very long and fantastic career. Looking back on it, what are some of your fondest memories?
It must have been like one of the first trips to the US. So this must have been the summer 2002. Yeah, 2002. I flew to Mount Hood. I remember like being like, first of all, like my parents, I think I was 16 at the time. My parents like rented a phone that would work in the US because like those cell phones didn't like exist back then, you know. But they told me straight up, it's like, unless you're in a like really tough situation, don't fucking call because it's so fucking expensive, you know. So I flew to the US, and then on the plane, it was funny because like the flight attendant comes to me and she's like, do you have a visa? I'm like, yeah, I got a credit card. I got a visa. I'm like, and she's like, okay, so you don't have a visa. So here's the fucking paper. I'm like, what is this fucking paper? You know, like had no idea. That was the first time I was flying to the US. I was by myself on the plane. But somehow just like wrote all the addresses and everything on the paper, and then the former Airwalk team manager picked us up from the airport because I was Jussi Tarvainen, who used to be like this Finnish pro snowboarder. Like he was on the trip too, but on a different flight, you know. So I stayed at the Airwalk house, and I didn't really have too much money, you know. So every day I would just hitchhike to get on the hill, and then I would hike up. I wouldn't like buy lift passes. And then just riding there. And that was like an eye-opening experience for sure, like seeing some of the big pros riding at High Cascade. And that was really cool. Fucking Mount Hood is the best place. Like just seeing that, like the skate park and seeing the snow park and everything. And like Mount Hood is the best for sure.
And we didn't talk about this, but it'd be interesting to go back because previous to filming for Standard, you did have a stint over at Straight Jacket with Kurt Heine, right?
Yeah. I did film for Straight Jacket Films back in 2002 and 2003. But how it happened, I was like in Tahoe just shooting for like Nitro Catalog, just some photo stuff in Kirkwood. And then we ended up hitting this jump, and they were filming for Straight Jacket at the time. Like Chris Edmonds was filming 16 millimeter. And then he asked me like, can I shoot you as well? I'm like, yeah, for sure. Like I'm just going to be jumping anyways, like taking these photos. And then he sends the footage to Kurt Heine, and he's like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, should we invite this dude to Mount Hood to ride for our movie? And then that's how I actually got the part for like Straight Jacket Road to Madness. If you look at the part, like it's 80% of the footage is from Mount Hood. So they basically just built a jump. There was a hip and then a couple rails and stuff. But that was cool because I feel like I could use that part like kind of as like a business card to get on like Standard Films. Like they saw me riding and like the trick selection on like jumps and stuff. So I think that was like a huge stepping stone too, like to be part of like American production.
How old are you? On the first trip to Hood?
16.
16. Okay,
Yeah.
and you just flew overseas. No, nobody was really looking after you. Just team manager. You had his number, and that was it.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy. Like my mom and dad just told me like once you like get to US, just send us an email that everything's fine. I'm like, yeah, perfect. And I was sick. I was at that time, like I was basically just, we were kind of getting drunk every night and stuff too, like at government camp. And it was just like the best times in life. Mm-hmm. I remember like Billy Anderson was there too. Like he had this like the Volcom car that was all spray painted. I don't know where I got a fucking spray can, But one night I was drunk and I had a spray can and sprayed his car. He like wrote poop neck on the side of his car. And then people started calling me poop neck after that. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, poop neck's a good tag.
Yeah.
I like that. Looks good. Yeah. That's amazing. How was your English when you first came over?
It was probably pretty bad. I can't remember too much of it, but yeah, it was definitely pretty bad. Yeah.
Was it hard for you to start talking to people? Or did you just let your writing speak for yourself?
Yeah, it was more about the writing, I think. Because when I was younger, I was actually pretty shy. Like, I mean, I would always be pretty outgoing if I got a couple beers in me, you know. Then I started like just being all over the place and talking to people. But like without having alcohol, I was pretty shy and just wrote as much as I could, and that was my way to like get people's attention for sure.
I remember working at High Cascade, and when I was young, you would come through and skate the mini ramp and the bulls when they were back behind the rat or whatever, and do like insane runs with back nose blunts and stuff. We didn't really talk about skating and how you've been such an avid skater your whole life and how much that means to you. And I don't know, love to hear you talk about that.
Yeah, skating's always been like, you know, as important to me as snowboarding, but I feel like for sure I was better at snowboarding than skating, because skating's so fucking technical. And I was like, when I was younger, I was skating with like Eero Ettala, who was one of the Finnish pros, like a little bit after Arto. But of course, like seeing Arto's footage, I'm like, fucking, he's the man, you know. And like for sure, I was trying to like push my skating as much as I could, and it was like just more of a fun summer hobby. But I was like trying to push on the level that I was stoked on skating to, and like wanted to progress. But I never made it that far, of course. But I was still really enjoying it, and it was cool to like actually do some street filming too and stuff.
Yeah, I remember you used to do a snowboard part, and then you'd also have like a skate part every summer for a few years.
Yeah, I would film some stuff skating too. But I mean, I guess I was like fairly good for being a snowboarder, but like never on the level of like becoming a like pro skater.
How was the skate sesh this morning?
Blunt God.
Blunt God?
No,
not today, but dude, you are a blunt God.
Yeah,
just blunt, all blunts. What's this one? You have this one video where you do, how many blunts in a row do you do?
I think
different
it was like 14 or 16 blunts. Like it ends up with a blunt kickflip, you know, but it was like switch back nose blunt and back nose blunt and back nose blunt revert and like all these different variations, and ends up with like blunt kickflip to fakie. But nowadays, like since my right knee is so fucked, I can't ollie anymore. Like I really just can't do an ollie. You know, so everything that I can skate is either a transition or like a slappy curb. You know, so that's what we were skating today, just a slappy and a transition. And that kind of takes the fun out of skating too, because like in my brain, I know exactly how to do like let's say a 360 flip or
ghetto bird.
No, yeah, ghetto bird, for example, too, or that kind of tricks. Like I know exactly like what my body would need to do to be able to do it, but like it just, my knee doesn't like bend that much anymore, so I can't do it. So that takes the fun out of skateboarding too. So yeah, just getting a slappy is like is really fun, but I mean like I can't skate a slappy curb like every day of a week. You know, it gets pretty boring after a while.
How do you think your knees are going to be in 10 years, 20 years?
I don't know. I guess I'm just like trying to stay as active as possible, because I still play a lot of tennis. I play badminton and squash and all this kind of stuff that actually require quite a lot from the legs, you know? So the only bad movement for me is like just squatting. Like I can't do that. So I'm just trying to stay active and then just worry about it a little bit later, I guess. Just need a replacement or something.
So is that the key to the fountain of youth, is to stay active?
Yeah, I think it is. Like if I would just like, you know, just complain about it and just stay on the couch and not do anything, I think I would be like way more fucked. You know, just being out there and trying to like work through it. I think that's the key.
The motion is the lotion.
It is for sure. It is. But I think I would really need to get into stretching. We used to have this like rule when we were kids, like it's lame if you stretch and wax, you know, so you have to pick or choose, you know. And we would always wax because we wanted to be like fast on the hill, so we never stretched, you know. It's so stupid, you know. I wish I stretched when I was younger.
Sick.
And when we were,
it's all good. Knees are paying for it now, but it's all good.
And it was funny because like also like when we were filming for Mack Dawg, I think this was the season of Picture This. Like me and Heikki, we would just always like like buy Advils from the store, and we were just like talking to Mack. We're like, "This is so sick. We just eat the Advils. We don't have to stretch. You know, we just like after riding, we just eat the Advils, and we'll be fine next morning." You know? We really did that every fucking day. He's like, "This is a stretching pill. Like we don't have to stretch."
Yeah. You're unveiling some of the industry's best secrets right now.
Yeah, for sure.
The stretching pill.
Yeah. You have an option to wax or stretch, but not both.
Yeah.
And if you opt to not stretch, take Advil every day.
Yeah.
And you'll be good.
Yeah.
You'll have a fucking 30-year-long career. All right, Eero. I think we did it.
That was freaking awesome. Thanks for having me. That was good talk.
We have a couple things though. A couple last things.
A couple things.
Do you want to throw out any thank yous before we wrap this thing up?
Ooh, fucking everybody out there that's being part of this journey for sure. And of course, my family, mom and dad, brother and sister, and my wife and kids. Like fucking, they mean all to me for sure. They're the best. Like I wouldn't be here without my parents. You know, they were always so freaking supportive on everything that I did. Cause like when I was a kid, they gave me the opportunity. I was playing soccer, I was playing ice hockey, I was playing baseball, I was playing floorball and all this other shit. And then finally when I discovered skateboarding and snowboarding, that was the thing that I wanted to do. And then like having my dad like working like 9 to 5, and after every day, like I was already in my gear waiting on the hallways like, "Daddy, like now we're gonna go shredding." And then he would always drive me to the resort, like, you know, 45 minutes one way. He would sit in the cafe, read a book till I was ready riding, and then he would drive me back, like every fucking day.
That's sick.
That just so much like, and he wasn't like commitment, like he didn't do it like you know, like I think, you know, looking back to it now, it was so pure from him too. It's just because he saw me enjoying snowboarding so much. It wasn't because he thought I was gonna be pro one day and make money, like make a profession out of it. It was just like he saw the spark that I had in me that I wanted to snowboard, and he was willing to support it. So like now looking back to it and like having my own kids, it's like I appreciate my parents so much more and what they did for me. So huge thanks to my mom and dad.
Damn, that's so gangster.
That's a boss dad.
Yeah, that's so gangster. Okay, lastly, what's next for Eero Ettala?
Oh yeah, we'll see. I mean, yeah, I'm happy to release this part and see what the feedback on it is. And I think I'm excited to actually get back to filming a little bit more for the gram, you know, because I haven't done it that much for the past 3 seasons. So I'm just excited to like get out there and then just keep on shredding and filming and see where it takes me. I don't really have any like new big projects lined up, but hopefully Renee's gonna give me a call from the sauna one of these days again.
Tell you what to do.
Yeah, tell me what to do, you know. So that would be nice. But I'll keep on shredding as long as it's fun and as long as my body allows me, you know, like I'll fucking be riding, that's for sure. Like I think, as I told you, I'm in my happy place right now. Like I'm in my happy place. Mm-hmm. I fucking love snowboarding more than ever. So yeah, I'll be riding, that's for sure.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for all the inspiration. I speak on behalf of everybody listening and all the snowboarders out there, and continuing to give us inspiration where you can't use your age or your body as an excuse. I got no excuses. So thanks for providing hope for all of us, for us old guys, and also inspiration for such a long career and everything you've done for snowboarding and contributed. So thanks so much for coming on the show, Eero. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you so much. This was a huge honor. Big fan of the show, you know, so actually being able to be here, it's huge for me too. Thank you.
Awesome. Knut, you did great.
Thanks. Eero, you're the best, dude. Yeah, you're the best.
You're the best. You guys are the best.
You're the fucking best, Chris.
Chris, you're the best.
We're all the best.
Yeah.
Silk, you're the best too. Thanks for producing. But you know what I want to have us do here? Why don't we have Knut do the sign off here? Why don't you take us out of the show?
How do you do that?
You know, just kind of like, you know, like a pro, like, thanks for listening. We appreciate you guys. And then,
I got it. From the bottom of my heart, I'd like to thank all you guys for listening to this episode with Eero Ettala, snowboarding's favorite snowboarder. Appreciate y'all. Thank you, Eero. Thank you, Chris. Silk, you the man. Thank you all. And we're signing off. This episode was fucking fantastic.
There we go.
There it is. Nice work. You're great. Awesome. Good show, guys. That was fun as hell.
Thank you.